Thanks for spending your money on me. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Laura Haight. I teach over at Saddleback College. I have been working in clay. Some of you already know me. I've been working in clay for over 30 years. I started when I was 2. Right, exactly. When I got the email from Char, she's like, what do you want? Do whatever you want. I was like, oh my goodness, I do a lot of things. So she gave me a whole wish list of things to explore. I am very flexible, like in terms of what we're going to. If you guys want to take a detour down some like route, like I have things. My thoughts for today was that I wanted to do a hard slab box that we could then do I brought some image transfers, and then we could add some Mishima onto that and see how that goes. Mishima is when you do a wax over the surface, we carve into it, and then you put an inlay of or a wash of underglaze or slip into the things. I'm going to try out some things that I haven't done before because my approach to ceramics is first you play and you make a mess, and fail fast, fail often. Perfectionism is not my bag at all. I think being messy and trying out new things, and also not even like you guys are. When they were talking about the demos, you guys already discovered my teaching strategy of you just do stuff and people are excited. And us, doesn't need to be that hard. Then after we do some of this business, I brought over some heads. I wanted to do some little pinch pot heads. And we could talk about some theories about, in terms of like sculpting, just really kind of basic stuff. And I also brought some of my fruits and vegetables and some that we could potentially glaze, or I'll show you how to do some colorings and stuff. Does that sound that sounds like 3 hours worth of stuff? Let's see, I need to see a clock. I can kind of see a clock. My vision is also not good. Yeah, which clocks do we got going on?
There.
Okay. I'm gonna I have 0 sense of time. So I'm counting on people to kind of keep me on track a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Do you need a reminder?
Let's see. You know what? I think we'll work on it. Let's be smart about things.
She's turning her
I'll
timer
put a little
on.
timer on because otherwise, I'll just go. And then I stop when people are telling me to go home.
Would you stay?
Never.
It makes you nervous by the time you leave.
Right, exactly. You won't get rid all the regrets. Okay, cool. So with that said, I started off. I already got my little slab. So I'm just going to do a real basic box. And just talk about some of my tips and tricks and strategies around that realm. My first trick already happened in that my slab, I came in, and this slab, which was in between, I like these wear boards that are, these are the Hardybacker. I don't know if you guys already have that or stuff in the studio, but the Hardybacker is nice because one, it doesn't get moldy. It's the stuff that they use behind bathroom walls and stuff. It doesn't get moldy, but it also sucks up a lot of moisture. And when you if you're trying to keep things really flat, and when you're drying, if you dry them between these two Hardybacker boards, it will dry flat and pretty even. Also very quickly. So this slab was too dry. And all I needed to do to just kind of reconstitute it, I just ran it underwater for 2 seconds, put it back over, and now we're back to flexible, right? But
nice.
I do love Hardybacker, especially when I'm doing kind of tile projects, that sort of stuff. I'll do a quick plug for Saddleback. I'm teaching architectural ceramics next semester, my favorite part about the whole class is that we go to the brick factory. Which is actually over in, I'm gonna forget where exactly, it's inland not Escondido, Moreno Valley, somewhere on there. Takes about an hour and a half from Saddleback. But it's the last brick factory in California. It's called Pacific Clay. And you get to see these giant kilns and how they're making the brick. I get very excited about it. The sales guy is like, why do you care again? I don't understand.
You know how many square feet their kiln is?
Oh my God, it is like a city block. They got 2.
Whoa.
They don't turn their kiln off. Like this was like, so this is, they have the first Edison little power plant on there, like, and then they have a whole agreement with the city about their like kilns and stuff. It's a train that you don't even have to close the door to the kiln. Because everything goes onto a cart, right, that just like moves around, and it takes like, I don't know, about a day or so, 2 days to like go from one end of the thing to the other end of the thing. And if there's something that goes wrong in the middle of the thing, they don't turn off the kiln. You walk in, you suit up, and you walk into the kiln. Because it's a big deal to turn that kiln off. And then as you're going down, you can like look in and look through different sections of the kiln. And then they have like a newfangled one that isn't nearly as exciting because everything comes out even. But they kept their old kiln specifically because they do artisan bricks, right? That come out different colors with like reduction and oxidation.
Was it wood fire or?
No, it's gas. It's gas. They have a huge agreement with the city. Like this, when things go wrong, the city calls them to be like, hey, we might need to turn off gas because it's a production to turn off that kiln. Because of the expansion, heating, and cooling. So, yeah, it's a very exciting trip to look at a lot of dirt. And be like, whoa! Because they don't even ship in like their clay or anything like that. It's the brick factory is there because it's on a big clay deposit. I think their initial thing was that they were going to get coal or something, and they're like, well, they didn't have a lot of coal, but they had a lot of brick. I mean, they had a lot of clay, so it turned into a brick factory. So
cool.
there's my plug for architectural ceramics. Okay, anyways, so how I teach my students when we first learn how to do kind of slab construction and stuff, we have kind of 2 options in terms of creating joints, right? You can have what is called a butt joint. I don't have anything to like write on, so we'll illustrate. So we have the option of doing a joint like this where it connects this way, right? Or you have the option of doing one, I'm totally not cutting myself, it's gonna be fine, where we do 2 45-degree angles, right? You totally didn't watch me cut towards myself, right? Like that kind of stuff, okay? There's trick number 2. I love using the side of a table as a ruler to create 45-degree angles. So we got this option. Now, this option is really good if you have textures or designs that you already laid out on your slab before you started and you want to maintain those. But if I can avoid my construction this way, I do, just because if you don't cut it even, if your angle's a little bit off, or if we're just a little bit heavy-handed in terms of when we're putting our pieces together, it gets messy real fast. So I prefer the easier and more forgiving method of doing a butt joint, which is the 2 flat sides coming together, that sort of business, right? Now, the only downside about that is that math sometimes gets involved. Right? We might have feelings about math. And my favorite feelings about math is switch over. If you have to measure with anything, oh my God, it's like way easier to do math with metric than it is with imperial. We really missed the boat on that one. So if you were trying to get like a perfect square, what you end up doing, okay, can I like write on the mirrors? Is that like a thing?
How about the whiteboard over there?
Oh, do we have a whiteboard? Oh, okay. This one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You can erase that.
Oh, there you go.
I'm an eraser.
When all else fails.
Okay. So, hi. So, when we're doing the butt joint, like, the plus side of doing it with the beveled edges is that all of the sides can be exactly the same when you're cutting things out. All of your sides will be the same. But if you're doing something where it has, the edges are now gonna play into it, now we actually have to consider the overall size that we want. So let's say we want 10 centimeter square. We want it to be square all the way around. What I need to consider now is that this isn't even big enough. Bigger. Okay. I need to consider the top slab on my box, the bottom slab on my box, and the fact that I'm going to need to connect the sides together too, right? So I'm going to have one edge showing. Okay? All right, stay with me. Hold on. So if we need to do 10 centimeters, okay, and let's just say that my slab is 1 centimeter thick, okay? So to make my sides, my edges, the 4 sides going around my box, those aren't going to be square if I want to end up with a square. So far, yes, no, maybe. Okay, I got some nods. We'll stay together. Everybody that's nodding, find the person that's not nodding, and that's now your new non-math friend. Okay? So that means that this height right here, this height needs to be what? What do we think? 8. Yes, exactly. Okay, we're doing good, guys. Okay, then this one, as I'm joining my pieces together, I will need to have this spacing as well, the side of the box that it's going to connect to, right? Guesses now on what this size needs to be. 9. Yes, we're doing great. Okay, so I need 4 sides that are now going to be, if I want my 10 centimeter like thing, I need to get 4 sides that are going to be 9 by 8. Okay, so we'll stick with that for a hot second. I'm going to go make them, and we'll see it come together. All right, here's my other big, super important lesson. When we're cutting, oh my gosh, hard slab, I love cutting with an X-Acto knife versus like a needle tool, that sort of stuff. But I cannot tell you the number of people that I watch cut, and then they're like, yeah, this is like looking really, yeah, that looks good. Okay? And this line, that line looks great, right? But this line looks horrible. Okay? Keeping your tool level is super important. So, I just want to make sure that this is always standing kind of straight up and down. If you take it away and your tool is off to the side, leaning either direction, that means we're going to have a problem, okay? Sometimes I feel like it's the simplest lessons that are the most important lessons.
You not worry about cutting the table?
I mean, I don't know about. that's a you question.
Stay out of this.
I don't know what our rules are on that front, but yeah, you can. I mean, typically, like our tables over at the studio. Oh, great. Our tables over at the studio are like wood tables, so like, yeah, we can cut into it, and it's not really going to cause a problem. If you have a mat cutter, cool. That's a good way to go. So I'm going to make my one straight cut to start off with. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to make a couple little points. Now, we know that what did I say I needed to do? I need to do 8. I need 8 by 9, okay? So I'm going to make some cuts first here over on my 8. And I'm going to measure in a couple of different places. That whole like measure twice, cut once thing, it's like, turns out it was like a really good idea. Now, if you want to be really smart about stuff, you keep your ruler on the side that you want to protect versus the uncut side, right? The other thing that I watch people struggle with all the time is that they try to adjust around the thing as opposed to find the right ergonomics to actually make a good cut. So, you know, clear your space, like find the appropriate thing, measure twice. And even then we're gonna make mistakes and it's fine. Right? This, I mean, you know what's kind of crazy is, so like my mom, both my parents are artists, but my mom was definitely the like arts and crafts like artist as well, like they did graphic design. But old days of graphic design pre-computers was like you had to like cut out each of the, you had to cut out all of the letters, you had to cut out all of the things. And my mom and cutting things, like this is, I'm teaching you, this goes back to my mom telling me about, here's how you need to hold the exact one. I have to get the exact perfect cut because she could cut a bevel, everything just by hand. So it's fun to have those lessons kind of come back. If this gets onto YouTube, I'll make sure my mom watches. Okay, now I'm going to try to make sure that I have a nice 90-degree angle. We'll just make my first initial cut for this guy. And you know you're doing good cuts when your slab can stand up, right? That's like, that's the test. Now, are we going to, is it the end of the world if it doesn't work out? No, it's fine. We're going to have some squishiness. Okay, so I did 8 this way, right? And then I need to do 9 the other way. There's my 9. There's my 9.
It's 1 centimeter on each side, but the 8 goes inside. So the end should be
Okay. And if you want be smart, double check your measurements. Like that's looking good. That looks good. And now I'm going to just use this guy as my, right? Shocker, double checking things. I would say where the other place where I watch people go drastically wrong with kind of hard slab construction is they don't actually have a hard slab. Having a slab, like, cause look at how like clean and nice, like it's almost a shiny like cut. Let's check. Yay, I win. Right, exactly. And feel free, if anybody has any questions, you know, stories, whatever, because cutting isn't always that exciting.
Is it difficult to get in your classes at Saddleback?
This is, what an excellent question. So yes and no. The emeritus class in the summer is tricky. However, oh my gosh, if you get on the wait list, get on the, like, do it. Last summer I got, one of my students got in at, and she was number 25 on the wait list. I am very strict about attendance because it is something there's such a high demand for, and we have such a short time. So if you're gonna miss more than 2 classes, I'm like, if we only have 8 weeks, like that's not the right time. Let's let somebody that can be there be there. And then there's my 4 credit classes, and the attendance is not so strict on that one because 1, we have a lot more time, but 2, we let's see, what's the right word? I get a lot of the people that are in the wait list into the class. If I can just kind of shuffle some people around. So wait lists are an important one for sure. Okay, let's go back to this for a quick second. So I do need to remember which way is like my 8 versus my 9, because that one's important. And then as I'm going to put these guys together, it's going to go, I'm going to do an end. We're going to do one end and one face. Or maybe we should say, we'll call this the edge. We'll call this the face, yeah? Okay, so for each piece, I'm going to do one face, one edge.
So they're not beveled, they're just straight.
Yeah, because we're going to do a butt joint, right? So right now, if you see how that comes together, that's not actually like square. That means that we're doing it right. Where people go wrong, again, is that they'll do like 2 of these, and now all of a sudden you're going to end up with a rectangle, right? And the trick here, and do you have to make things square? No, but this is the goal that I have set for myself today. Okay, because otherwise, no, you don't have to do math. It's okay. Now, I don't like to add slip to my piece because I cannot tell you in the like 25 years of me teaching this nonsense, I have watched so many pieces fall apart where I can see their score lines, and yet it still pops apart, right? Have we seen it? Yeah, we've seen it. And the problem is a lot of times people will add slip, but the slip doesn't actually go into their score lines, which now all of a sudden makes this nice little like connection point that you have now put little tiny air pockets in, that we all know air pockets and like ceramics aren't like necessarily the best of friends. And so it can make it so it's even more likely to pop apart, okay? So my theory on, and this is just my theory, so don't worry if you're like, that's dumb, you do you, is that I want to make sure, I want to really make sure that I deeply embed my scoring into the side of the piece. So I do a water scratch, water scratch, water scratch. If you want to be extra about it, you could even do this with like a vinegar or water solution, or just even vinegar, doesn't really matter. Or if you have like a little magic thing that you like to put in there, yeah, do that with the water and then the scratching. And I'll do that 3 times on each like piece. Okay, now here's the important part. Ooh, stay close. You know that you did a good job when you have a whole bead of slip squeezing out the side. Okay, no slip equals no good. Okay, so I want to give that a good wiggle and a stick, and then that's already like together. Okay. Oh my God. People have this like tendency to be so fragile and gentle with their greenware, and they don't try things out. They don't test it, but this is the time to test it. If you break it apart now, you can put it back together. If you break it apart when it's bone dry, no, that ship has sailed. It's not, I'm not a big fan of like trying to repair bisqueware. It's not fun. It tends to take a lot longer than it would take for you to just remake it the right way to begin with. Okay, so let's class quiz. So this one I did it onto the face, and it's on the edge of this one. So should I score the edge of this, or should I score the face of this?
Face.
Oh my goodness.
Edge.
We passed. Yeah, pass. I wasn't sure myself. Okay, so I'm going to do the face on this one because I did, so each piece I'm going to score one face, one edge, right? I love this scoring tool. It is my favorite thing ever because it's, 10 needle tools at once.
I use like a toothbrush sometimes.
Yeah, the toothbrush, as long as it's really stiff, it's got it like, so the trick is, here's my high school analogy. Clay has a memory, right? And clay, once it's leather hard, has formed a clique. And that it is besties with the clay that is around it, and any other clay is some sort of outsider, okay? So right now, I need my like theater kids and my like sports people to get along, okay? Now, the only way that's gonna happen is we're gonna need to make, so we all know about water, water breaks down clay, right? So we're gonna need it to make a traumatic event. And I need to make sure that it is deeply embedded in the piece. And so as I'm scratching, I will do it like 3 different directions. I have to really build up a slip, and I want to make sure that that is thoroughly embedded in the clay. I don't want a surface level thing. I need this. Did I do it right? I did it right. Okay, checking. Wiggle and stick. I'll clean up that little slip bead. If you want to put a little extra coil in there, you can too. But I need it to be deeply embedded into the piece. I need to have water. I need to make sure that the water has fully embedded itself into the piece. And then I need to squish those 2 together. Then they need to think about their lives. And now that they've gone through a traumatic event together, now we have a trauma bond. Okay?
PTSD power.
Right, we need PTSD for this. I don't know what the actual acronym for PTSD in ceramics is going to be, but I'm sure we can figure it out. Right. Yeah, so that way we're going to get to that point, right? So I'm going to do this bit. But yeah, like making sure that my slip is really in that clay. And like I said, if there's any section where that slip does not ooze out, that is going to be the part that cracks. And you can see it's like, it's good. But yeah, water scratch. And I want to make sure that I'm also not getting rid of any of the slip that I've made on there. I want to make sure that it stays. That's going to go there. And this guy needs to go here.
So the side opposite that is within the piece.
Mm-hmm.
But the side that you're putting on now is outside of the piece.
Yeah. We're doing, it'll be the face and the edge, the face and the edge. So if we were to look at the, at this from like the top view, it would be, I have an edge here, right? And then, and then that one's going out there. This one's coming down here. And this one's coming this way.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
So that it's uniform. Because if I had done it the other way where I have 2 edges, like then your math changes. And I'm trying to keep my math as simple as possible so that I don't have to have like 3 or 4 different measurements. I'm cutting out 2 different squares. Yeah, so I did my edge, so now I need to do my face. And then I'm gonna like kind of rush through this, so you know, don't check the video. We're gonna all collectively remember that I did a really good job, and I did the 3 times each time, right?
Absolutely.
Totally what happened. Wow, wasn't that fast? Okay, push that together, good. I still got a little bit of stuff there.
Laura,
Yeah.
are all your squares 8 by 9?
All these squares are 8 by 9.
Okay.
For the purposes of my demo, I love the number 10 because I'm not actually like a good math teacher. Okay, so then I got this guy, right? And that's together. Now, my top, I don't know, go back and measure. Because sometimes interesting things happen here, right? And we're gonna go with it. When I cut out my base, I'm gonna cut out my base a little bit bigger than what I need, okay? This one, we're gonna go more for some eyeball action.
So you do the top before you do the base?
Top and bottom, gonna be the same spiel. Exacto. And the reason why I do this is because this way it means that I don't actually have to have precision cutting for this part. I just need to have something that like fits. Okay, we will then go back and shave it all down and everything will be awesome. And you can see this is also why, like, so this is a little bit more friendly in comparison to if we tried to do the beveled like edges. So if we did the beveled edges, all of our cuts would have to be perfect each time. And so depending on who you are as a person, maybe that's not exactly what we want to do. This only requires a tiny bit of math and not panicking.
That's kind of demanding.
Right, I know, it is. It is. Like, I think that that's actually the entire purpose of art classes, is learning how to be good at failure. Failure is a feature, not a flaw. We should just assume that it's gonna happen.
It's so philosophical.
This is my religion, is ceramics. And I've learned a lot from it. I've learned a lot about not counting on things working out. I've learned a lot about tenacity. Because like because you can, and even in the mistakes, like fun things can happen, right? So and also aren't we here for fun?
Yes.
Why do we make it so unfun?
Because it's so hard on us.
I know, it's crazy. And I think the interesting part, so like I teach like, 11 to 17-year-old little like kids and stuff, and it's kind of wild to see how quickly they can pick up stuff, but it's also because they're really good at being bad at stuff. Right? Like, it wasn't that long ago that they were figuring out how to, like, ride a bicycle, or walking was, maybe 10 years before that. But yeah, they're still learning, and they know what learning still feels like, right? As we get older, we start to get more and more anxious about, being perfect. And being like, no, I'm better than that. I've already gone past that stage. But when we're especially when I'm teaching ceramics, I'm like, this demo is not different from my kid's demo. Like, I get to use bigger words.
Kids are us.
Right.
Kids are us.
A little bit more.
It's just that they understand sooner than we do.
Right. Well, and I think. No, and they don't understand sooner. They fail faster, right? You want to make all of the mistakes. I learn, because let's be honest with ourselves, have our best lessons been from when we made mistakes or from when we did it right the very first time?
Always the mistakes.
Right? So why are we afraid of the mistakes?
It's a time
Right?
consuming.
It's time consuming. It's time, but you know what's even more time consuming? Sitting there trying to fix the mistake.
Really?
Yeah, infinitely. Like the amount of time that people spend making the thing versus just like, let's do it again, is crazy. Which is why when I do stuff, and I've done, like, for those of you that have been in my classes and stuff, I have definitely done things where I'm like, no, I've never done that before. I'm going to try out a thing I've never done before today, just for you guys. And with that said, there's probably going to be some mistakes. And that's okay, right? Because I think learning how to fail is just as important. Because if we have takeaways from it, then it wasn't a waste of time, right? If we learn something from our mistakes, the only time failure is a mistake, like a waste of time, is when we don't learn from it.
Laura, is there a reason that you're making the top and bottom larger off the start rather than just making it the size that you want it to be?
Because one, if our cutting isn't good, oh my gosh, it's so much harder to add stuff on later. This, I'm gonna shave, I have my handy dandy form that is gonna get involved, and it's gonna make all of my mistakes go away. Now, if we were doing, so for making a box, we have a couple of options with the top bit. I could just make, I could make a secondary little piece that goes on the inside here. Let's see. Okay, and then just attach, fake attach this into this, and now that all is going to be my little lid. Oops, again, fake attach. Where that now becomes the lid for the piece, right? So that could work. I could just straight up attach this on, right? And then come back and cut down here wherever I want to have, or I could cut in all sorts of ways. I could cut a section off the side and then have that be like the opening, right? But I think I'm going to try out we'll try out a different thing, because we're just going to try stuff.
We did it, I think.
But we have lots of options.
Did you have the same attitude when you were beginning?
Let's see. No.
She's a comedian, too. Good timing.
No, I specifically remember being in my undergrad and working on this thing that I just spent so much time on, like a ridiculous amount of time on. And honestly, it was getting boring. But I didn't see that because I was like, I'm going to perfect this, and I had all sorts of feelings. And I couldn't possibly compromise my vision. And it wasn't great. I think that was in that time frame, that was also when let's see, where am I doing my scratching? Doing my scratching here. I remember my professor being like, oh, you should try like this, this, and this. It's like, oh no, I can't possibly. I need to do these things. And then later, I actually did what he said. And it was so much better. And even when I was looking for grad schools and stuff too, I would go around and I'd be like, oh, this is one of my better critiques, which was just kind of a random one. I was at the Chicago Art Institute, and I was telling the head faculty, here's my vision, here's what I'm doing. And he's like, that's not what you're doing. You're doing this whole other thing. I was like, whatever. But he was right. He was right. I hate it when they're right. And even my first critique. So I love this story about critique because people always have one of the hardest times is critique, right? Because we work really hard on a thing, and you pour your heart and soul into it, and there's also the vision that you have in your head about what the thing is. Okay, I need to let this sit for a little bit. What am I going to do while I'm letting this sit? I'll push harder.
How long do you usually let it sit?
Okay, again, I'm not great with internal times, So typically I just need to go do something else.
Go to the back room.
My favorite time block to tell people is about 20 minutes. Like, go and let something have a thought about its life. This is like dry enough that I don't think 20 minutes is really necessary. I just need it so that the slip actually kind of disperses, and we don't have the wettest point still being there. I need that to absorb the water. So it kind of depends on what your clay is doing. Same thing if I'm doing sectional pots. The hardest part for me is that I put my sections together and you need to let them like have a moment to think about what's just happened. And if I try to do it right away, I will split it apart. In fact, I even have a couple of videos online of me doing sectionals where mistakes were made. I think the title was Mistakes Were Made. Where, again, I did not wait long enough. Because, am I ready?
So Laura, what's your thoughts about having it dry outside compared to having it dry at room temperature?
I think it's dangerous.
I knew that was coming.
I think it's again, I am antsy and I want to do stuff. So typically, I need to actively remove myself from a situation that needs time. Otherwise, I will do things to it. When I put stuff outside, what happens is that you don't have controlled air out there. So can you do it? Do I do it? Yes. Should I do it? Probably not. But of course I waited until the last minute to do whatever nonsense I was trying to do. So I want to like hurry it along. But that's typically where every time I try to rush stuff, that doesn't go great. Like timing is actually important with this. There's a too long and there's a too short. There's the just right, right? Like just right for working on slab is that I want to have a little bit of flexibility, I don't want it to break, I want it to bend. So like this, just even being out is starting to dry out a little bit more, right? But as long as I still have a little bit of bend, I feel pretty good. If it gets too dry, like as long as I'm still in this sort of state, I can go and I can dip it in the water really quick or something like that. But the more you do that, the more you're setting up questionable things. Yes, absolutely. Here, have some clay. Yeah, and then direct sunlight, things go drastically wrong. I've done really tall bottles before, where even just being next to a window, if I let it dry next to a window, it all just starts to do a little curve towards it because it shrunk more on one side than the other side, right? So it doesn't shrink evenly. So putting it outside and rushing it or not having, that's why the wear boards are so nice. Because that is pulling water from both the top and the bottom at the same time. And then I'm less likely to have a warp if I have them sandwiched between two boards versus having it even just on top of the board, right? Because if I put it just on top of the board, how many times have you guys put your slab out, let it dry, and then it goes, yep. Yeah. Weird.
Where do you get the boards?
You can get them at Home Depot. The brand name is Hardybacker.
Hardybacker.
Yeah.
And
and it's a cement board.
Do they come in a specific size or you can have
It's a 8x4 sheet. Yeah. But you can cut it with a box cutter. So it's not crazy hard or anything like that. Just
Yeah, but is it something less than 6x8 slabs?
I think that they do have smaller
They
patches.
sell them 4x4, but
Yeah.
they're smaller.
I don't think it's smaller than that. I think the 4x4 is the smallest that you can go. But yeah, we buy big sheets of it and then just cut them all down to be the same size as our kiln shelves.
And they don't warp?
They don't warp and they don't grow mold.
How about sheetrock?
Yeah, same stuff. Okay, the sheetrock
So fast.
Yeah. So the plaster and then you have the paper on both sides. That one can grow mold and also they can break a little bit easier. So this is a little bit sturdier in terms of like carrying stuff. So I do prefer this over the sheetrock. Also because it breaks down and kind of can get crumbly on stuff too. You can fire, now, it is possible to fire the sheetrock too, and actually use it as like a shrink slab, but it is important to test that. and have that be okay with your kiln techs and whoever's buying the kiln too.
I'm just amazed.
Curtis, it's the stuff that's used behind bathroom tiles as opposed to walls in the house.
Any tricks on handling that? It looks so easy.
Oh, this? Okay. So this one is called a, this you can get at the Tool Corral. You've seen them at Aardvark too. I don't know which one's cheaper, but these are called Sureforms.
We sell them here.
Oh yeah, there you go. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah.
And
But
there's some in the tool cabinet.
Yeah, they are One Direction kind of like thing, and having a clean, fresh one is way nicer than having a rusty, dull one. Yeah, shocker.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, because this I just put a new blade on, and oh, it's so nice.
And the blade is replaceable, and I think we have the blades too.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that make a difference?
Right? So this is like way, like that's why I don't cut it down.
Oh.
Because I can just have that be like really nice. Now you're gonna play a super fun game of fix that edge. Okay? It takes longer than you want. It generally takes like 3 rounds for me to go around and really clean up and make those edges. Because you'll fix one side and then it'll mess up the others. You'll do that a lot. I think the other important part when you're working on this is to remember to keep your space like clean. I like to use, so there's the roundy ones, right? The like slightly curved one. I don't like to use that on this because I want to get my straight edge. But that way I can go over the whole face in case I like, you know, made mistakes or got it a little lumpy.
What do you do with the leftover shavings? Can you use a slip?
Yeah, you can put this. This is a great stuff to like actually start your slip.
We have a bucket here for 5 or 6 different kinds of clay. And you just take those, not a bucket, but like a jar. And they're up on the shelf over the glazes. And you just put it into those jars.
You wanted that's my thing, it's 5 out of 10.
Now, if you didn't,
When you started, when you made your big piece, did you do anything to it to align molecules?
Okay, really good question. I did not just take it straight out of the bag and put it onto the slab roller. Now, I don't actually tell my beginners this because it doesn't really matter, because when they're rolling out their slabs, they end up having to roll it out a few times. And magically, that actually is wedging the clay to get rid of the problems. It's when they become more advanced that now all of a sudden they're rolling out slabs and their slab is perfect the first time, and then it comes back with a little S-crack in the middle of it, okay? Because back to that part where the clay has memory, if you cut your clay straight from the top here, and then just roll it on the slab roller, the likelihood of you getting a nice little S-crack in the middle of it is pretty high, because the clay has memory of the auger that pushed this stuff through. And sometimes you can even see it in the clay when you cut it. You might see a little swirl of color or something in there. That's the clay having memory about the traumatic event of its birth. So when I cut it off, I'll just fold it over a couple of times. And make it so that I'm not just working it straight from that slab.
So running it through the slab roller and then turning it around and running it again does not fix that?
If you fold it over a couple of times, yes, that'll fix that. It totally fixes it. But without folding it over, we're not necessarily getting rid of that initial swirl pattern, right? And so we do. And does it happen every time? No. Like. As with most of the stuff in ceramics, we're playing a percentage game where, yeah, it might work, and you got lucky, and then, like, the other 10 times you do it, it doesn't work, right? All right, so now I have like my slightly like nicer cube thing.
Now, if you fired that without putting a hole in it. would
Yes,
it-
I made a bomb. That is a bomb. So super important. I mean, even if I wanted to like continue to work on this, I'd still want to get a pinhole in there because as it's drying, it will want to like pop open. Same thing for any sort of closed form like thing. Just getting some, even when it's green, as it's shrinking down, it is compressing that air and it will want to pop your seams apart. And I prefer to tell it where to pop my seam apart versus letting it decide where it wants to, which is never. We're never in agreement on that.
So you only need a small pinhole?
Just the tiniest of pinholes. You do want to make sure that that pinhole doesn't get sealed up with glaze as well during the firing, which is not super hard, but it can happen.
Put it on the bottom.
Right, yeah, put it on the bottom. One of my students had a beautiful piece that she does like these like tape designs. And so she had made a closed form, like, I don't know, it was like about yay big. And then she did this really elaborate like tape design over the whole thing. And she did have a hole in it and it was fine through the, bisque. It totally blew up on itself. It was very kind, it imploded. It didn't hit other people's like stuff, so that was cool. But very considerate, most considerate explosion. But we figured out, we saw her pinhole on the bottom, but it did get clogged with glaze, and we're like, oh well, I guess that mattered. Because normally I find that it will like kind of push out, but that time it did not.
So after all that shaving, I'm dying for you to measure it.
Right, to see if I actually, I mean, I've never. You're meaner than me. All right, it is 9.5. Let's see, and 9.5. Okay, all right, that's a square. We are 9.5. Oh, hello, me. We are 9.5. We're at 9.5. Yay! Sometimes.
See, I'm your advocate. I'm showing
Right,
how
right?
well you did.
So now what I like to do is I'll go back over this whole thing with my rib. I like the yellow one, not just because I like yellow, but because this is, so these are the mud tool ones. I like the mud tool ones better than the random whatever nonsense that they're selling on Amazon these days. There's like a bulk pack. And I've really discovered that paying, unless I'm making the cheap tool myself, I enjoy paying a little bit more money to get a good tool.
We sell those here also.
Yeah. Mud Right, I'm really just doing a plug for your store.
I just want everybody to know that it's.
No.
She's using all the stuff we bought the other day.
We're running to do it on Amazon. They're here.
Right? No, we don't have to.
And we need the money.
Exactly.
You don't make any money on it.
Need our money back.
Right, now, so then my edges, so then I'll go over the edges with my fingers and just kind of pinch that. And the other thing I can do is just really lightly roll the corners on the table to round it over, because honestly we don't want this to be ridiculously sharp, because we already know that once anything that's sharp now is going to be extra sharp later, right?
So no sponge use to get rid of?
No, I am not a fan of the sponge, mostly because now occasionally we need to add some water, but a lot of times adding water is not necessarily our best plan, because when we add water to it, I mean, guys, let's look at this. This is not making anything smoother, right? What you're getting is you're getting grainier and grainier. Right. Now, if your piece got a little bit too dry and your stuff isn't moving around, sure, I'll put a little tiny bit of water and then I'll go back over that surface to really
Burnish it.
smooth it out, right? And then just, I love this tool, which is just the part in between my two fingers that I can go over those edges to like smooth that out. Yeah?
I used to be mix, no sand, and it's like, it's so smooth. There's no.
Right, yeah, if you're working with like a porcelain already, then you don't even need to do
It's like
anything.
a cheap man's porcelain.
Well, and you know, so this one is BP. This is a big porcelain, which is not, the reason why I call it BP is because it's not actually porcelain. It is a 50-50 mix of a stoneware and of a white stoneware and a porcelain. It comes out exactly like the B-Mix, but it's cheaper than the B-Mix because I don't know why. B-Mix was really popular because it was a cheap white clay. And now it's not especially the B-Mix with sand, it's like $6 more and I don't know what's going on. So I stopped buying B-Mix and I love my BP.
We don't sell that here.
Yeah, you don't sell that, which is,
I used to be mix, no sand, and then I'll put porcelain slip on it.
On it, yeah.
The glazes are really bright.
Yeah, I like the, I have beef with B-Mix. Mostly I have a lot of notes that say never again.
Well, I hate making something out of porcelain. I'm usually
I know, it's a
big things and they come out
right. And if you're just looking for a white, yeah, exactly. The you know what? The only reason why I don't like where I actually don't like the B-Mix is that it just doesn't really want to be big. And when I say big, I mean 2 feet and more. I've run into more problems with BP as soon as I want to get to that size. Smaller than that, no problems. BP is great. Larger than that, issues. Because we do, so I have my students do a 30-inch project where they either have to throw or sculpt or something along those lines. I know, and then they freak out, and then they do it, and then they're like, "Oh my God, I'm amazing!" I'm like, I know. Not me personally; they just figure out that they're amazing. If I get a chance, I'll show because I need to brag about my students. They just made some really. They went. We got real productive this semester. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen the big kiln that we got, but we filled that kiln 3 times over in 3 weeks, plus 2 large oval kilns. Because, oh my gosh, of course they need to make all of the big things that show up at the end of the semester. But it takes so long to make the thing. Okay, all right, there's my box. Do I want to decorate or do I want to put my lid on there first? Let's put a lid on first. We'll have feelings. I no longer know where the top or the bottom is, and it doesn't matter. It's a box, and boxes be boxy.
It's gonna be open.
Yeah. So okay, here's my question. We could do like a little top, or we could do a top from the side. What do we want to do? We want to do the side top. Wait, I have different information. Little top on the top. Raise your hand for little top on the top. Okay. Okay, raise your hand for top on the side, or like halfway cut. Oh, sorry, halfway people, you lost. All right, we're gonna see how well this guy works. When one needs to make a circle, one should use the circle making tool. Do I want it? Ooh, do we want it in the center? Or we want it off the side like a maniac?
Offside.
Offside like a maniac. Oh, I like you guys. All right, let's see if I have regrets from this. Let you guys go nutty. All right, look, I made a circle. All of the times that I watch people wander around the studio and be like, I just need something that's round, that's like this size. Oh my God, you have a round making tool. It's here. And then we're gonna cut this, and we're gonna cut this like we would cut like a pumpkin, right? You don't cut straight down because regrets. We cut at an angle.
Why?
Because otherwise it'll sink straight down. Right? That's the regrets, is the lid falls in on yourself. Okay? So I'm going to try to be really steady about this. Now, here's how I be steady. I'm going to hold my tool and I'm counting on my fingers to actually keep my hand on level the whole time. Right?
You don't want to cut on the wheel?
No, just because I don't think that this tool is like, it's going to move around. I will have regrets.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to try to keep my hand and this angle the whole way around. I'm going to follow the line that I put. Right, now it won't fall in because I have the angle. Right? All right, that looks, guys, that looks pretty good. Okay. Now, I had a request for making flowers, was on the list of like things to do. So I think we need to, let's think this through for a hot second. Okay. I'm gonna put this onto this. So this is, these are paper transfers. You can buy them online. You can make them yourself. It does require having a silk screen. Silk screens being like this sort of stuff. You can buy pre-made silk screens. You can make silk screens. You can also, there's a machine that's super fun if you ever take like a printmaking class over at Saddleback. Actually, so if you happen to have timed out of all of the ceramics classes at Saddleback, the class you need to take is the printmaking class, because everything in printmaking can transfer over to ceramics. I'm turning the whole printmaking program is turning into a ceramics program, because what we can do with this, I will do this one. They have a My Screen. The machine is called a My Screen, and it allows you to print out your like images. So it's a little bit easier than like a traditional like silk screen. Okay, we're gonna see if this is like the right consistency or not.
She's gonna grab you a stir stick.
Okay,
because that's been sitting.
Now, typically I need to do this with it a little bit thicker, so we're gonna just see if this works or not. Okay. Oh, good. Guys, I'm doing great. Okay. Now, typically what I need to do, and I forgot to bring it, was I have a thickening agent on here that you add to this. But Speedball now, I think Speedball and Amico are both making a silk screening medium. All it is just a thicker version of this.
It's underglaze, right?
Yeah, just underglaze. And really all this stuff is just underglaze, right? So we'll see. If it's too wet, it ends up being blurry. So I'm gonna rub it on there. So we're gonna see.
So parts of that won't go through and other parts allow it to go through.
Yeah, this is too wet. So it came out a little bit, like, so this is a little,
There's a design in there.
the design that's on here is a, it's like a
Stars.
gear.
Oh.
It's a gear, but it got it got blurry on the edges because this was too watery, okay? But, like I said, this is one of the ways that you could potentially do. You take this, again, you have to have thicker, and then you can print it out onto a rice paper, onto a news. They have a CMC powder, or it's Mako makes like, it's called a silkscreen medium, right? And you just add a little tiny bit to it right before you use it, and you turn it into like kind of a peanut butter consistency, and then rub it through. This was not a peanut butter consistency. And it wasn't totally my plan to do that today, so, you know, I just wanted to show you.
Is that little screen reusable? Or
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Just
So then,
wash it off?
yeah, now you can actually see the gear in there. But yeah, you can just rinse it off. And these ones are nice. So the ones, I do silk screening. I teach people how to make silk screens in my wheel class. And we do a combination of making the silk screen and then also turning it into a paper transfer, which is what this is. And then learning how to transfer that over. That's a whole like ball of wax in and of itself. But if it's something that you're interested in, and you are on the like illustrative side of ceramics and stuff, where you like to do a lot of decorative elements, I strongly recommend printmaking as a way to add that onto it. Because basically, what this is this is just a monoprint, right? Because I can then take this print, and you could do this as well, just even on, like, let's say you're a painting kind of person, you could start doing your paintings onto newsprint with underglaze and then actually transfer over. The thing you have to remember though is that their image is going to transfer over in reverse, right? Like, so if you have a lot of color and stuff on the base, like you don't do underpaintings because you're going to see the backside of, it's like painting glass.
So what's the advantage printing on the newsprint and transfer on the, then directly paint on the?
It is a different look for sure, like a much different look, because it doesn't typically transfer over absolutely perfectly. And you can even kind of play around with it to make it feel like more weather, that sort of stuff. I would also say that the advantage of putting it onto like, so Forrest Middleton is one that he's the artist that we brought in to like learn how to do the things. He puts it onto thrown pieces, like he'll put it onto a cylinder while it's still wet, and then he can go in and expand the like design and stuff. Definitely much better, especially if you are like, if you need to do repeated images and you like to do a whole bunch of little tiny like details or text or that kind of stuff. That could be other reasons to do that. Let's see, what do I need? I'm going to cut this.
You want scissors?
Do I want scissors or do I want to like make my life? I think I can do this. Okay. We're gonna try a thing. Look, this is how we're gonna try a thing.
Did you buy that transfer sheet online?
I got it when I went to Inseca.
Sleek casting next door sells this. Different pattern, different design.
We don't sell it.
Yeah, next door.
Next door, and you could order what you like out of the book sometimes. She doesn't do it all the time.
Can you use it?
Okay, let's see. I think what I'm gonna do, because I have an idea. I have ideas. I don't know if they're good ideas, but I have them. So I'm gonna try to cut this guy, and I'm gonna carve around just this one little pattern. Oh, maybe I do want scissors. Do we have scissors?
Yes.
Okay. Because I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put, here's my plan. Let's see how it works. I'm gonna put portions of these, I'm gonna cut out little patterns. I'm gonna lay those down onto the piece. Then I'm gonna do a wax resist over it so that I can then go back and add more detail with my own drawings and we'll use the Mishima process, okay? So, do I know if this is going to work? No. So let's go on this journey together.
Golly, you actually gave her a scissor that works.
I know, that's what I thought too.
You never know which pickup's gonna have.
Or throw them in. $3 a set. Do we sell those here? No, we don't sell those here.
This is where I'm gonna wish that I had done some work ahead of time. But that's okay. We can all imagine, right?
Here till midnight, it's all right.
I wasn't going home. This is where I live now,
It's okay with us.
right? Okay, so this is where I will use a sponge. And with the transfers, okay, so the plus side about the transfers is that if we make mistakes, you can wipe them off.
Really?
It's just underglaze, right? Wipe it off. So we don't have to panic. But too much water is a bad thing. Too little water is also a bad thing. It is something where you should do some tests. Again, fail fast, fail often, instead of be like, okay, this is my one shot. I've never done it before, and I'm totally going to do it right the first time. That's how the world works, right? So I'm just going to dab. I put it face down. And the trick with these is that depending on what color the consistency, how thick it is, what your design is, it's going to determine how well that water is going to help transfer things, okay? So too much water will cause the same problem that we had here, where your image is going to blur, right? So we need just the right amount of water, so I will go sparingly because I don't know exactly what the right amount of water is for this. I do get people that are like, oh, can't you just leave the paper on? The answer is no. Because what will happen is that it won't have fully detached from the paper in the kiln, and then the paper and the firing, the paper starts to burn up, and then it'll pull your underglaze away with it, right? So it kind of sort of works, but yeah, it's not a guarantee on anything.
So you don't peel off the paper, you leave it on.
No, you don't. You do.
Okay, I'm just trying to get this straight.
Underglaze comes in different colors, right?
Yeah, the underglazes can come in a whole bunch of different colors, and so that's where you're seeing with these guys, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
We do it over in slip casting because it's low fire. Is there a problem because on this side it's high fire?
Most of these work both high and low fire, because these ones are underglazes. Now, I will tell you that the likelihood that the yellow is gonna do well, there's certain colors that do not work well at high temperature reduction. Right? And yellow does not like high temp reduction, doesn't like a cone 10 reduction. If I did a cone 10 oxidation, though, typically the yellow will hang out, it'll stay.
There's a chart on the back of that door that's going to be moved over to one of the sliding doors so you can see it without being behind the door, which shows the 3 different levels of firing. And it does show on the far right of each of the discs, and that's for Amico. Each of the discs, the far right one is a 10, cone 10. So it shows it either changes color or it washes out. And it also shows what it looks like with a clear glaze over it. And I'll remind everybody right now that underglazes are not food safe unless they have a clear glaze over them. There are very few that are. We don't mess around with it. They're just not safe without a clear glaze.
Perfect. Okay, so if anybody saw, I took the paper off, right? My image is looking pretty good. And I did check it to make sure that it was dry. Now I'm going to do a little coat of wax over this. This is wax.
The wax.
Reed wax.
Okay, and now I have to let that dry. Oh, cool. Thank you, thank you.
Laura, while you're letting the wax dry, why don't we take a 5-minute break? I don't want this food to be left over.
Okay, eat food. I was gonna make a flower for you for my top.
Okay, do you need to do
So-
that before a break?
You can take your break. You can totally do a break.
All right, a break.
Take a break.
Take a break. I'll work on some flowers. All right, stare at people that don't have their hands up. With disdain.
Just like a teacher.
There we go. We're coming together.
I like your technique.
Hey, kids. Come on, you guys. Come on.
All right, have a seat. Otherwise, you don't get to learn about flowers. Okay, so a couple of things while we were gone. I did one more side. I also added some more wax onto it because it looks like there's a part on there that I didn't quite get wax into.
What does the wax do? Is it for...
So the wax is going to make it so that when I go and do a whole bunch of other nonsense, that I won't ruin it. Supposedly. Okay? Because this is where we're going into uncharted territory. So I don't know.
Could the wax help it retain color when it's fired?
No, the wax is only hanging out until like 180 degrees and then the wax goes away. So I think a big mistake that a lot of people make with wax is that wax is going to magically make the glaze like either not be there or something like that. No, it just makes it easier to clean and makes it so that it doesn't do stuff before we put it into the kiln. But after that, no, the wax is not doing anything. So what I'm going to do though, I wanted to show you guys a couple of different ways in terms when it comes to carving, because you get a lot of carving tools, and they are different. Oh, and then if you remind me, I also had questions about the silk screen stuff. So the silk screen, if you don't have a my screen, which will print out your own designs, you can get pre-made designs. And this is the Mako, it's a Mako pre-made like silk screen.
Variety pack?
Yeah, variety pack, like these are the things that you get in there. And then what's on the inside is this, where did the inside go? There it is this thing. And I don't know if you guys can see the like designs and stuff that are on there. And you just go and cut out the individual designs and put them on how you'd like to, however you want to do it. And these ones you could, because it's on a flexible screen, paper, means that we could put it directly onto pots. And you could put this onto bisque or onto greenware. All this is just a mask that you're putting onto the thing. Your stuff does need to be thick enough so that it, so test. Your ink needs to be thick enough that it can, that it doesn't blur the screen. It also can't be so thick that it doesn't go through the screen. Should I close the door? Yeah. Thank you.
And what's nice too is it's reusable.
Right, totally reusable as long as you clean it out. Not cleaning it is sadness. Okay.
Is it flexible so you can put it on a curve?
Yeah, you can, like it'll curve around like this way, but it doesn't quite go around a ball shape. But you can, with this, like I've put it on round forms, and then I'll just like slowly try to follow it around. And that's where I do like putting it onto like a cylinder or something wet that I could then go back and shape as well. So your application and when you're putting it on, we have a lot of different options, right? Okay, so carving tools. I really like these. These, I even like these ones for trimming, because they are sharp. They have a really thin little band, and so it doesn't get dull. Basically, what will happen is that you will eventually wear through the metal, and then there's no more cutting. But these are some of my favorite tools for both trimming and for carving.
We sell those too.
Look at you guys. You're so on top of it. The other tool that I use, these are ones that are actually sold as a sgraffito tool. This is again Kemper.
We sell those too.
Right. And the reason why you would use these versus these is this works really well for wetter clay. If you're cutting, just like when you would cut with a needle tool versus cutting with an X-Acto knife, right? You're choosing your different timing. Same thing for even using this tool, right? A needle tool. Because a needle tool isn't generally going to take away clay, it's just going to squish it around, right? So depending on what you're carving, what you're trying to do, it is helpful to have a variety of different carving tools. And even the type of clay that you're carving. I do really like the diamond core carving tools, especially if you're trying to do really precision carving through porcelain or slip cast kind of stuff. I like those ones, but those ones are way more spendy too. So All right, so we're gonna experiment and see which one I actually want to do, and then we'll see if I have regrets. But I'm just gonna do a little line. Around that, and then maybe I'm gonna add I don't know, little flowery somethings. Is that what it is? Coffee?
Yes, it's a coffee pot.
I don't have I'm not a big drawing type person, so I do a lot of times, if you are not a drawer, the other thing that I will do is I will get my drawing friends to do drawings for me, and then I will put that just on top of the piece, and then trace it, and then you'll have a little ghost image that you can go back and then redo. So if you are not a drawer, but you want to pretend like you are, yeah, exactly. We can. It's totally possible.
Do you ever use stencils?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And again, that same concept even on that front, because the silkscreen is a stencil, right? Kind of we're using the wax as a stencil right now.
So with the wax, you're protecting the whole flat surface except for where you're scratching through it.
Right. So that just real simple design, just so we could get the right idea. Then we'll take our Mishima. Now, ideally, do this to the whole thing first. I'm doing this haphazardly. Did I clean the thing? Okay, and you could do this with, if I did deeper carvings and that sort of stuff, I would do this with a slip versus with an underglaze. But these are really fine carvings. And we'll see if I actually pulled enough away. Oh, I like your wax so much better than my wax.
Yes.
I have a horrible wax right now, and I'm gonna fire it. this semester.
We sell that here.
Right?
You got the whole gang working for
I
you.
know, you guys are great. All right, let's see if I'm getting into this.
Is that water-based, that paint?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think, okay, so now, let's see how I did, and then we're gonna see if I actually, because I might have, with my needle tool, I might have just pushed the wax down, because again, my wax is garbage, and it would have worked. But then, oh no, it's working. Good, 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 good. Then we can go back. I'm gonna make a mess. It's gonna be fine, because we're in ceramics.
Because you get to leave.
Right. I got everybody's mom here. Right? And then you can just get this. So by putting the wax over the surface, now I can go and I can make this all.
Just so you know, you're dripping underneath
Yeah, that's okay.
on the other side.
It'll be fine. Okay. Now, if I had my wax everywhere, then I wouldn't even need to worry about it. But so here's my before. Right, here's my after, where I did a couple extra little lines. I made some little like marks and stuff on there. Right? Real quick way to do some really nice delicate work and not have your, because I have seen like the other way about doing Mishima is that you put it on and then you have to scrape it all off. Now the bummer part about that is that you end up, it's like, yeah, you end up having a rough surface on there. Or you end up with like kind of smearing your pattern a little bit. So doing it with the wax makes it so that now you can have these really nice little fine lines. We could do thicker lines. Again, like I said, if I use my other tools and I had a thicker line, then I'd probably do this with a slip instead of like an underglaze.
Can you put it outside?
Yeah, you could do it. Well, so yes and no. The thing that you have to be so careful about with oxides is that they're just very powerful, right? And so it's a lot harder to use it and not use too much, right? And also that's a little bit more on the expensive side too. Like I have conversations with students a lot of time, because we do use oxides, we color our clay, we'll do that sort of stuff, and we'll use oxides and mason stains. But the quantities get, how you use it, I don't know. Okay, let me restart. Trying to color your clay with like an underglaze is wild because the underglaze is way more expensive, right, than just using the straight up stains or oxides. So using them for their appropriate purpose is going to be more cost effective. And so oxides aren't really like, the amount of oxide that I have to put on here and then wipe off, I'm wasting so much of that oxide, right? The underglaze, I just barely used any, got it on there and like was done. And that worked out pretty good. Does that kind of make sense? Okay.
How about stain?
Same thing, both stains and oxides you want to, because all stains are just oxides that have gone through a chemical reaction, right? So they just had a little bit extra dent to them. Okay, so let's make a little like, so that makes sense. We don't need to see more. It's boring to watch me draw leaves. Let's make a little flowery top.
I was going to ask you, what are you going to do
Yeah,
for a
where's the
handle for that
flower?
lid?
Now this is a thing that we could play around. Maybe we should do it with other colors of clay. I don't know. Okay, flower making techniques. I love all of the cake techniques work for flower techniques. So you could do this with slip and stuff. But if you're going to do it by hand, my biggest beef with flowers and people making flowers is that they have a tendency to they roll out a slab and then they cut out the flower shape, right? And then you end up with a cookie cutter flower. And the cookie cutter edge drives me bazonkers, okay? At this point, I'm just not okay. So my favorite tool is this part of your hand, the heels of your hand. Put that into in between, and then I'm going to get the edges really, really sharp. Right? So you don't have to make the whole thing skinny. You're just making the edge skinny. And it also even will pick up like kind of the prints of your hand and stuff. But you can fold it around here. I'll pass this one around. And you guys can stare at it. But we'll do like we'll do some little rose buddy things.
And for size, just a smaller ball makes a smaller
Yeah,
petal.
exactly. And you could do it really big and then just go back and still just pinch the edge along stuff. Because your trick is, if you want to make something look thin, you make the edge look thin.
Will it crack?
It might crack a little bit, but also having things be slightly imperfect actually make it look better.
Real.
Yeah, it makes it look more interesting.
Because flower petals aren't perfect. They do.
Right. Right, and then I can just fold this over and wrap it around, and then I'm starting to get my little petal.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So start there. I mean, that could be just a very tiny lily.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very tiny.
Very tiny lily.
Laura, push the bag down. That's down.
And you know what else I'm
Very
gonna
literal.
do? Look at me. I'm gonna turn that wheel off.
Just so it doesn't go flying around.
Right? Okay, so I want to start making badges for my students about like things that go wrong that like everybody has to go through, and one of them is turning on the wheel while your big pot's on there. Because they're gonna inevitably do it. The other one that everybody does, even though I tell them, is they tend to overwater their large sculptures, and then they come in and they're like, oh my god, somebody smashed my whole piece. And I was like, oh, it was you. It was you and your water use. Because they'll try to keep it wet and they'll put towels onto it, but a towel onto a large-scale hand-built piece is
It's weight.
unattended is exactly how your piece falls apart. And then you cry a little bit.
Greg, tell her about the slip
Did you put some
from
slip
wheel
on some
throwing.
things?
The slip?
The wheel throwing the other day.
Oh, well, yeah, what happened was,
Oh, was that you? It was a lesson.
yeah, it was a bowl of slip that was left on the wheel. and-
Have water.
just
Oh,
water?
water.
Okay. And the wheel was on and the pedal got accidentally kicked. So there goes that bowl of water.
I think I did the classic a couple of weeks ago.
Right? See, look,
I was carrying a drip pan from the thing, and I tripped, and it went everywhere. I coated the entire floor over near the sink.
do you have grate, so my student, we have a grate on our floor, and we will roll the glaze buckets out. And the big lesson is you always pull, do not push the buckets out, because have we dumped an entire 30-gallon bucket of red glaze
Absolutely.
onto the floor? Yes, we have. And has it happened more than once? So, these are just badges that we get to earn. Earn and learn.
And hopefully never happens again.
To the same person.
Right, so you're just building off of the and build your petals however you want. If you want to, I always recommend that we look at pictures, and right now I'm just going off of flowers in my head, which aren't very interesting. The more you can work from an actual picture to see what your base shape is, to make your petals will get better. Right? The other thing that you can do, let's make a leaf. We need a leaf. And if it's not coming out the right shape, the other thing you can do is you can still use your cookie cutter. But you go back, when you're done with your cookie cutter, you literally go back and you just hit those edges again. No, I'm not a big water adder. Right? New terms. If I wanted, like, it really depends on like what I'm trying to go for. But let's say, so this is boring, weird thing. I like this guy. And then I can just go in and drag that down and I can make a little, like, kind of leafy petal. And then add that guy to this guy.
So do you score and then add water to attach it?
Yeah, to attach it. Now, that's where I always about my, like, we're gonna make it goopy. We wanna have the slip coming out of the edges. Otherwise regrets.
Did you cut the bottom off?
Yeah, I pinched off a little bit of the extra clay because it does tend to like build up a little bit.
Well, the flower is much wetter than the
Yeah, so I'm actually not going to score the flower.
oh.
So depending on how wet my pieces are is kind of like how much I want to score it. So this is very dry. So I want to make sure that I really build up the slip and I dig into the clay for our trauma bond.
So you just said you don't slip and score the petals together?
Mm-mm. No, they're wet enough that it's really not a problem. Plus I pinched the bottom together, so it really doesn't. And it's also not like, my flower isn't really going to be too much of a structural thing. And once I put this in here, now, the trick is to not muck up your flower.
Yeah.
Tender care.
Hole, what hole? There's no hole. All right, let's see. Am I ready yet? Yeah, we're attached. Right, so that can be my little, like, top on that guy. Okay, so just those, like, super flower basics. Right, that's a good, I think that's the biggest, like, flower trick ever, is just using the heel of your hand to your edges. Watch your edges. All right, so there's a box. I was showing. I brought in a thing to throw. This was not on the list of things that were asked for, but it is on my list of things, of a few things that I've done. So this is my new watering jug. Okay. What? A watering jug.
What?
Okay. So you take this. Now I am gonna glaze it, but we dip it in water. Wait. And then. Because I didn't. I just like it. I thought it was funny, and I needed to make one.
That's so much fun.
So I was going to show you guys how to make a donut. Yeah, here, if you guys want to pass it around, you can pass it around.
I was getting you some water.
Okay, cool.
Is this a greenway or bisfire?
That's a bisfire.
That's
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, we could leave it, I could leave it bised, and it would be a perfectly good, like, watering, like, container. I kind of want to glaze it because I feel like it, I don't know.
How do you glaze this thing?
Just this one?
Yeah, like, you know, that's the trick, is how do, because I can't glaze all of the things.
Yeah.
No, the hard part. And this is, so this is how.
I'm sorry, you could have that high fired without any glaze on it.
Right, I could.
True. Would you rather have a bucket?
Oh, no, this is fine. You are perfect.
I know.
So
you notice it,
This lid on the wrong side.
Uh-oh.
You're too much.
I have an original link. That's the big thing.
Because, so one of the things that I feel like really, when I'm impressed by artists, is how well they consider the entire process, right? And so one of the processes that we have to consider is the fact that we need to glaze a thing, and you can't just glaze all of the things. Even the, like, and then I get a ton of people who are like, but it is, and I'm like, but it isn't. You just can't tell where those connection parts are, because the design is done so well that it looks like it's part of the design, right? So ways that I could go about it, and I do love, I'm a big fan of matte, so a lot of times I do like to just color my clay and then do nothing to it, and that would make my life the easiest for sure on that like little watering container. But other things that I could potentially do is have very specific areas where I'm having glazed and unglazed elements, right? Going back from matte to glossy. So, because I've been envisioning it being like some sort of like half water, half sky kind of like thing. So I could do some underglazes, because also I'm not concerned about like food safety on this. Nobody's eating out of that. So I could do some underglazes and have those exposed, and then I could have some glossy like maybe up at the top, play back and forth between the matte and the glossy. You could also do it if I fired it on stilts or something like that. Like I could do a polka dot pattern on that, and it would be adorable. Or stripes. I'm getting ideas. Where again, I'm playing back and forth between glossy versus matte. And then the parts where we have the stripes, that's where I would put my stilts, right? So that way they're not actually showing up in the design and the pattern. So those are all potential options. So I'm only going to be able to show you the first part of like how to make the donut for this one, because I did not do a pre-made donut.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Your opinion on compacting the bottom of a pot to avoid an estimate. I've heard different things, that compacting doesn't work. You can't compact water, but all little pieces of clay have little divots full of air that can be compacted. So compacting works.
I have very strong feelings about this, and I've seen it in play because I have made 150-pound pots, and I have made little tiny pots. Little tiny pots, I can get away with a whole bunch of nonsense, and it's not a problem. But as soon as I get to a larger scale, oh my God, it's a huge problem. Especially when it comes to sculpture and that sort of stuff too. Having a compressed wall is infinitely more important than like, because sometimes people are like, oh, you just need to make it thicker and that'll make it stronger. No, it does not make it stronger. And I got this from Beth Kavner. I saw her demo like years ago at an NCECA. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Beth Kavner's like work, but her work is, she makes sculptures of animals that are like, that would easily cover 2 of these tables. Be the size of 2 of these tables. And how she works is she works solid, and then she hollows out all of her forms. Okay? So it'll be like 2 or 3 days of like just frantic working. And then it'll be like over a month of her hollowing out and thinning out the form. Wow. And one of the things that happened is that she was talking about, and this was like my like aha moment, was she was talking about a piece that she had gotten a little anxious on and actually made it way thinner. But it was like really compressed. So she had the whole thing about a quarter between a quarter and a half an inch thick, and a huge sculpture. And she's like, and when it fired, not only was it the lightest piece that she ever made, but it was also the most perfect piece that she had ever made. Because normally especially with sculptures, you're gonna have something that doesn't quite like come back together because shrinkage is a thing. And it was the compression that changed the whole spiel. So having even compressed walls, and when we're hand building, I can even show it to the students as I'm compressing the work, like the compressed walls versus the uncompressed walls are like, they feel different.
I was talking about compressing the bottom.
Yeah, now.
Because I don't wedge my clay, I don't compress the walls, I stretch.
So here's the other fun one. We don't really, okay guys, don't tell them. The clay that we get commercial
Comes out early.
it's already been compressed, it has already been de-aired. But if you've ever worked with clay that's like fresh out of a mixer, oh my God, it's a fluffy mess. And it's kind of hard to work with. Like it doesn't work without wedging it. So having gone through, like, so if you have a de-airing tugger or if it's coming from a commercial thing that again is doing the de-airing, then no, you don't really, I don't wedge my clay either. Like I kind of sort of did because I put some holes in it.
Of course, so you gotta smack it down.
Yeah, you gotta wake it up. You gotta get it used to like whatever's going on in the world.
Let's talk about what you're doing.
Yeah, so this is a side note. I did go all the way down to the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna make my inside wall first, and then I'm gonna make my outside wall. Okay, now my big trick to this is a weird one because I have to think round thoughts. I don't know how else to explain it, but the biggest like trick with this is making sure that you actually have a round core on the center, because it's not going to look round when we make it. But if I have, and I always, when I'm throwing, I'm always thinking way more about my interior shape than I'm thinking about my exterior shape. Because when we go back and we trim, we're going to be able to put that back. But back to your question about like the compression and stuff, small scale compression, not a big deal. But when we get to like big platters, that sort of stuff, oh my gosh, it so matters. So I have students that have to do an 18-inch platter, which is about, like yay big-ish. And it's a series of sad events. And that's just part of, they have to throw it. And they like, to say that tears don't come from that assignment would be a lie. Because the number of big plates that people make and then have a S-crack or cracks over on the side, really high. And you can even see the compression, like when the plates we'll break them in half. If you have a crack in your plate, oh my gosh, the best thing to do is go break it more. And actually like take a look at what your cross section looks like. But yeah, really thick bases, that doesn't go well. Because really when we're talking about compression, I would say we can physically compress on the wheel about a quarter of an inch down. So if your base is like that thick and you do some really good compression on the top with like your rib and that sort of stuff, and you really work to keep all of the water out, it'll go about a ½ inch down. And then you have to, when you flip it over and you trim it, then you kind of have to compress on the other side as well. And hopefully you're getting your walls nice and even. So even compressed walls are infinitely stronger than uncompressed walls. And especially if your walls start to get thick and thin, now your problem is that your drying is different. So your thin spot dries faster than your thick spot, which automatically incurs like cracking. It's always thinking about how your piece is going to be shrinking and moving throughout the entire process, but especially in the kiln. So this is why, like for my students that make these big sculptures, I had several students make like large, I'll show you pictures. But I had a student do a bust, a half body bust, and it came out perfect. And she worked so hard at making sure that all of her walls were nice and even. I had a student do this huge like wolf leg shape, and he just had one tiny little like crack on the back of his neck. Came out like great. I had another student who did not spend as much time, and lo and behold, crack right in the center. Like it like you can see where the effort is put in the different compression. Okay, back to this for a hot second. So now I have my walls, and they're pretty like even. There is going to be more clay right down at the bottom corner of it because we need clay to support stuff. I like the throw heavy, trim light kind of rule of thumb. It makes your life easier. I don't know why people need to like guilt people into being like, oh, it's too thick. You can trim it down, right? I always think you should throw kind of just a little bit past your comfort zone.
What does that mean?
So let's say normally you like to work like with, I don't know, 4 pounds of clay. To move yourself on, you go past that. Do like, I don't know, 8 pounds of clay. Okay? It's not going to go well. It's not going to go well, but we practice on that one. Okay, good. Doing good. So we practice on that, and we fail, and then we move back to that 4 pounds. Oh my gosh, you're going to be so much better at that 4 pounds.
Oh, interesting.
Because the things that you couldn't get, that you were struggling with before. And so we just kind of keep doing a little bit past your comfort, and then come back to your comfort, move a little past, and you are going to eventually get bigger and bigger into kind of that comfort zone, right? But we have to, just like going to the gym, which I don't want to do, you have to get a little bit sore in order to build up that muscle. That it's going to be a little painful, right? Which is why we go back to that like fail fast, fail often. Okay, now this is where my round thoughts come in. I really want to have this interior part feel like a round curve. It would be hard for me to get a rib in there that's just the right size and not gouge something. So I'm gonna, oh, you're spilling your water. Sorry. So I have to do it by feel.
So the outer edge is straight, you don't care about that.
I'm working on feeling a nice round thing. Again, I'm not worried about what it looks like on the outside at all.
Yeah.
I am literally feeling
Just
the
the
inside to make sure that it has, again, I'm thinking round thoughts. Now we're gonna bring these two together.
It's magic.
Right?
Magic.
See? And then I'm gonna take my favorite rib,
And compress it.
and then we're gonna compress it. And once you have it closed like that, you can play with the shape a little bit more.
Aren't those canteens for horseback or something?
I mean, sure. I don't know. I just make these donuts. And you can do a whole bunch of, I've made little teapots out of these donuts. I've made weird contraptions that I can't get the water out of anymore.
You can make vases out of it.
Yeah, you can totally make vases. Like, so that was I think when Bill Bryant first realized that I was crazy. Because I made a closed round form, and then I made like, I don't know, 8 of these. And I had them all coming out of the top of the piece, and then you put water in, the water did not come out. So I don't know where it went, but yeah, you can do like, cause this could turn, you could put this into the thing and it's like a little like centerpiece like thing. You put a little candle in the middle. Like we can do a lot with a hollow like tube. You can cut these in half or into little sections and then reassemble. So I just like this as a shape to play with, to do new weird things with. I think this was like it was a chunk of clay about like, I don't know, is that much of the bag? So that much, it was that much. That's okay.
That's an exact measure.
That's a very exact measurement. You can see I'm very precise.
How do you ever get that off the wheel without?
So I'll carefully. I just need to let this, this is a good time to poke a hole, like before you take it off. poke a hole in it. I will undercut it. And then I can come back and do my trimming like later.
Why you need a hole before undercut?
Air pocket
Drawing.
and clay shrinks. If we do not allow the air to get out as it's shrinking down, because it shrinks even in greenware, if you do not allow a place for the air to get out somewhere, it will find a place
But
to
you're
come
gonna
out.
undercut it.
Right? I'm gonna undercut it, but it's solid. Here, we're gonna cut it in half and we're gonna see how good my round thoughts were, okay?
Because it's still gonna.
Laura, how did you make that
There's a solid
watering
air in
thing
it.
so strong?
But is it
Cause
just
the
like
crack
this?
where
It was just that with the trimming, and that is a porcelain.
It is porcelain.
It is a porcelain, but I
It's
did
still
use this
solid.
over
It's
the
still
surface
So
as I was
if you turn it over,
taking
it's
it
not
off.
and she's gonna cut it so you can see.
I know, I really like touching it.
Before you put holes in it, the air is trapped inside, so you can be a little more aggressive with the.
Yeah. Like, so right now, like, this already has some, like, movement to it, and I could actually move it around more, and even reshape it. But let's check and see. All right. Yeah, so there's my, like, I was, like, medium on my round thoughts. I was a little ovally thoughts. But you can see what I would need to trim off, right? Right? So I also, if this is your first attempt doing this, I strongly recommend that you cut them in half so you see what sort of shapes you're doing. So that way when it's time to trim, you have those thoughts in mind as you're trimming about what you can move towards, right? I think it's really helpful to cut your pieces in half regularly so you have an idea about what your trimming should be like. Because you have tendencies, you know, when you throw that are unique to you.
So I can see the top where they connected.
Mhm.
Do you need to worry about that?
Mm-mm.
No?
No, it'll be good. It's a nice when the clay is wet like this, it bonds together pretty well as it's drying. The drier the clay gets, the more important it is for you to be really worried about the seal and the connection. But otherwise, no, I haven't had any problems with the seam or anything like that. Yeah.
Question about it. What if I want the donut to be an oval shape?
So that's a good one. Okay. I think that the best way to go about it, because I would say that yes, it is moldable while it's soft, but the problem is I'd still need to go back and trim it. So I'd either have to trim by hand, which I'm probably not gonna do a good job, but maybe you can. But the other thing that I could do is I could just make a larger one and then cut out the center sections and then reassemble it back together. Right? Which I think that would probably be the best way to go about it, is to actually take multiple, like, because you could have because if I have a big circle, cut out the middle, and now I'll have and I put those two together and I could have an oval.
Yeah.
So that's how I would go about it.
Yeah, my problem had when I did a whole big donut, and then I squeeze it, and then by the time you fire, definitely the joint part will crack.
Yeah. Because you can do some, like, the next time I come back, because I'm assuming that you'll invite me.
Absolutely, yes.
We'll have to do a whole thing on sectional and altered. Like,
Yes.
I'll write that down.
right? Because sectionals are great when it comes to, like, especially if you don't feel comfortable throwing in larger quantities. You can make, so my second semester students, they have to do an 18-inch tall piece. And they're like, but they haven't thrown with more than like 4 pounds of clay ever. And they're like, how that's not gonna work. But the thing is that you don't have to throw with more. You just are throwing individual pieces together. And I do have a couple of videos online about a sectional bottles. So if anybody wants to, check it out.
An 18-inch piece in sections is cheap.
I mean, I don't know whose rules you're playing by, but I don't think it's fun.
Curtis, not everybody can do what you do.
Right? I mean, again, I'm a big fan of like, because people do come up with like kind of like rules and reasons when you're like, oh, that's cheating. And my personal theory is if it's doing the thing that you want it to do, then it's the thing. Now, if the assignment was to throw it all in one piece, then yes, that is cheating. But beyond that, like if it gets you the result that you're looking for, then we're doing, like, it's art. Like, why do we need to put weird rules on ourselves that aren't necessarily working with how we work and how we work best, right?
In case you need.
In case I need another thing. Okay, so actually I was going to switch over to doing heads. Do we want to make heads?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
Earlier you mentioned your kids were doing sculptures, the wolf for the dog. Do they put it together solid, cut it in half and hollow it, or are they working off pipes and add to? Or?
I do two different techniques. So the technique that they did was for soft slab construction.
Okay.
So they did it through various like slabs built and then hollowing that out, or not hollowing, but compressing and then kind of reshaping. But I also do a solid construction project where they do a bust. We have a little bit of an armature, but not like a big one. But we'll keep our solid construction probably about that big, just because it takes time. Plus, that's the one where I make my students do their bust. They have to do their own head, and oh my gosh, they're very upset about it. I keep it though because it is transformative in terms of experience. I really like sculpting from, I think it's such an important practice to actually sculpt yourself. Even if you, like I have a whole bunch of busts of my head and no, I don't want them. The only person that actually did want my busts was my grandmother. She's like, you finally made something nice. No joke even. But sculpting yourself forces you to do some observational skills and observational practices that we are not naturally good at because we make assumptions about what faces look like, what heads look like we know how to do things, but knowing about the gym is not the same as going to the gym. Right? So how many of you guys have tried to make a head before? How many of you guys did not actually make a head that actually looked human? And so especially when we're first learning how to make heads, like it really turns into, I get a bunch of really flat faces, I get a bunch of football eyes, I get a bunch of duck lips, lots of like weird little like bits. And I'm not even a realistic sculpture is not my like love. It's not the thing that I want to like make. However, doing those sculptures, having done that for a couple of decades now, and even having had sculpted myself for a couple of decades, so that means I've seen myself change over time.
Is that good or bad?
Now
you know what?
We haven't.
Right? No, we're all the same. But the interesting thing is, no, I think it has taught me a level of self-love and care for every wrinkle and like weird facial expression that I make. Because now I also start to see my family members in it, and as I turn, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, I see my grandmother, like I see my mom, I see like these little curves and wrinkles, and I know where they came from. I know that they're coming from like the smiles that I make and the weird faces that I will like. I have a very animated face.
So do you have your students take pictures from different positions so that they see their whole head rather than just, because technology changes and so we can utilize it?
Yeah. So I have them, so when I have them do the bust, I have them do a full face, 45 side and back. And then, I mean, the top if you're gonna do it. where they start off though is we start off with just the basics and we'll do a little pinch pot head. And that's what I'm going to show you guys today. And what are my other thoughts? What do I need? I'm just going to spread out everywhere and it's going to be great.
I'm just trying to follow you, that's it.
Sorry, I didn't make it easy on you. What other things do I want? I want this, I want this, I need this. I need these things. No.
No water.
No, you guys and your water. Okay. These are the things that I want.
Do you always switch the play that much?
I'm just using it because it's the stuff that I got just off of the wheel. So no, otherwise, no, I hate wedging clay.
You do it very well though.
Thank you.
I was waiting to see what you do with air pocket in there.
I'm not even really worried about it. If we aren't familiar with this wire cutter, right? I know, we gotta have the curly one.
We sell that.
We do not sell that.
Okay, but you don't, guys, you don't have to buy it. You can just use a regular wire cutter, maybe one of the ones that got a little janky, wrap it real tight around a needle tool, and it's perfect.
Why do
Just
you
spring
need a
inside a
curly
pen
wire?
first, too.
Yeah, spring inside a pen.
Why do you need that?
What's the advantage?
Because of this. And then we can also do because I'll do this even to facet a piece.
That's
We could do this, we could do this for a slab and then you turn it into like a little there's our teacup, it's not weird. Right, yeah. Ceramics doesn't need to be hard. Okay, in terms of how much clay I'm gonna use, I think I'll do, yeah.
I was trying to say, there is a way, you make a cylinder like this tall, and then you take one of those curved wires and you drag it across as you raise it.
Yeah.
Stretch it out, and it gets twisted with, it's just the most incredible.
So what he was saying is, and actually that was a trick that I had learned from Bill, and I have a pot from him, and it is, so you have your cylinder, you have a thick cylinder, and you take this guy, and then he was even saying you could take it and turn it, but you don't even have to turn it. You can just do your little design up, and then if you have it really dry on the inside, as you're turning it, it'll cause the whole thing to twist around, and you can't touch the outside. So you have to have confidence in what we're doing. But yeah, faceting, and then the twist is really pretty. Okay, so here's what I'm going to start off with. 2 balls. And actually, you know what? I'm going to just come over here and sit on the table because my favorite surface for this is my lap.
Watch out for the teeth.
Right, yeah. Bite, come back to bite.
Exactly.
Do you want an apron?
No, I wear this because you can't even see which is not. It wasn't this color. I don't think it's any fun if I can't tell, if I can't trace my steps back to where I was. This is like my location system. I can also follow my dirty footprints back to my car. Okay, so when I'm doing a pinch putt, key features of this, and here I'll pass this one around because I want this, when I'm doing sculptural things, I do like it to be a little bit on the thicker side. It'll give me a little bit more place to play with. So here I'll pass that around.
What's that clay that you're using?
This is still the B-Mix. I'm sorry, not the B-Mix, the BP.
BP.
That we don't have.
We don't have.
It feels like B-mix.
And no, this is what I really like about it. It has all of the things that B-Mix does without the cracking at a larger scale.
It doesn't have a lot of ground in it.
No, it's like a soft.
So earlier you talked about compress.
Mm-hmm.
Is that considered compressed?
Fire?
Yeah, it looks exactly like like a B-Mix with sand. It has a little bit of a light kind of modeling in terms of color, but it looks exactly like B-Mix with sand.
Compressed.
Yeah, so in terms of compression, no, this isn't compressed. And again, at this scale,
Doesn't matter.
compression doesn't really matter. I find compression matters as soon as we start to get to that 2-foot range. Yeah, like so if we're going to things that are about this big, compression matters. Compression matters so much. Everything smaller than that, I can get away with a whole bunch of nonsense.
And you use rib to compress?
Yeah, I'll use a rib or like a sculptor's thumb. Sculptor's thumb is like just like a little like wooden tool that's about the shape of your thumb, but it's harder than your thumb. Okay, now I have to find the other half of my.
Would that be considered the?
Kind of like that. A sculptor's thumb, it actually has it's like a little S shape, and so it has a round thing on both sides. Thank you. All right, now, I didn't have to think too hard about it, like, right, we're just gonna put that together. I do not use water again. I will stitch this together. And it's super important that you do really, so my walls were about a thumb thickness, right? I need to drag my tool halfway through that. And I'm gonna go in multiple directions. So I wanna score down, I wanna score up, and then I wanna even do some like diagonal mess making.
Could you put a coil in first and then do that over it?
It's not necessary.
Pardon me?
It's not necessary.
Okay.
And this is why I put it in my lap, is so that way I'm not rolling it around. Like the table is your biggest enemy in this. Also, while I work on this, I'm going to be working on it upside down most of the time. And that is not for your benefit. That is because working upside down makes it so that I am not, like, the biggest flaw when people are doing this is that they work on it just like literally head on, looking at directly at the face, and the face will flatten out. The face gets like all sorts of distorted, and it's not accurate either. So if you've ever done like drawing on the right side of the brain or anything like that, that whole concept of flipping it upside down is really important. Okay, so then from here, then I'll take this guy. We'll start to smooth this out. All pinch pots have a stage that I refer to as the lumpy potato stage. A lot of times people will confuse that as the end product. And then they're like, oh, pinch pots are just always so rough or lumpy, or they're not pretty. And I'm like, that's a you problem.
Projection.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now I have this Fastidious, right? So, but we've sealed the air pocket in there. Okay, so I can roll it around on the table a little bit. We'll make it slightly better. Then I will take my serrated rib. I love this guy. Okay, it's got the little jagged edges on the sides. Okay, this guy is what makes everything smooth. If you've ever worked on a sculpture and had your sculpture have that like weird sort of cellulose kind of like look, if this worked on skin, we would be so good. We would have so much
Cellulite.
Cellulite, cellulose, cellulite, you know, words. So I go over this whole surface. And I will do this. This is the same step for baking any of my fruits and vegetables too, right? It all comes from the same place. We're just fruits. Okay, I think I've covered all of that. Okay, now, a lot smoother, right? Okay, so now I'm going to use the side of the rib, not the edge of the rib, but the side of the rib.
So the rough edge was getting clumps out and things like that.
Yeah, it's
evening
like
things
you're
out.
raking over the surface and then moving it onto the side. Now you can see that's already looking a lot better. And I don't want to put it down on the table because as soon as I put it down on the table, then I will have a table dent on it.
Piece of foam.
Yeah, foam would work. All right. And smooth out any extra something. Okay, so that's like good enough for like a starting, a little block form. Okay, so let's talk about head shapes, shall we? So some basic proportions. Do I want to have calipers?
She goes moving in.
I know, I'm very tricky. Do you guys know about these calipers? Yeah, these are my favorite calipers. These are the ones that have your, this does shrinkage for you as well. So I love having a 2-in-1 sort of deal.
Do we sell those?
No.
Yes. Yeah, we don't have the red ones, we have the metal ones.
Okay, so these are different than just
better.
the,
Yes.
these are different than just the metal ones. The metal ones are great for just sculpture. These are great for potters because they have there's 2 holes on here. One is a basic 1-to-1 ratio, and then the second hole accounts for 12.5% shrinkage, which is the majority of shrinkage for clay. Okay, so when you're trying to make a thing, so these are called lid masters.
Fritzy will be shopping again.
I definitely will, I must have that.
This is one of my favorite tools because if I need to make something for a very specific thing, or I want to figure out how, I want a 10-inch plate, but I need to make something bigger than that. I will go and I will measure out the 10 inches and then the additional. Would you be so kind and figure out where I put a ruler? Yeah, somebody give me a ruler and then I'll show you guys a thing.
Tell us again what it's called?
These are called lid masters.
Lid masters, okay.
Write it down.
Write it down.
Write it down.
Write it down.
So, yeah. So there's the basic 1-to-1 size there. And then I'm gonna move this down. And I'll totally get in it into the thing. There we go. So you can measure. So let's see, your finish size needs to be 4 inches, right? Because I make all of my students make 4-inch tall things. Then that means that I need to make it 4.5 inches tall in order to get 4 inches.
Very nice.
Right? Super, super handy. I love these. These are also great if let's say you broke a lid on your teapot and you need to make we know the problem. So this is where this can totally help you out. Right? So love me some lid
There's
masks.
those two holes here.
Yeah, so if you wanted to put them up here, now that's not gonna do the,
What is that? Do they serve a function?
yeah, so that you could have a bigger, larger caliper. So that way it would spread out longer because this only goes that far. If we put it here to here, yes, but it
Oh,
won't
as an
be, it won't do the, yeah.
Won't
So
do the math.
different- Yeah, it only does math in this one part. They do have larger versions of these. Yeah, that are great. But there's a larger like lid master one, but these do most of the things that I need it to do. Yeah, so it's math. It's like a calculator in your ruler.
Yeah.
It's said to shrink 10%.
12.5%. Yeah, and it's even labeled there. But that's the majority of your clays and stuff. If you're working with something that you know is a little bit more or a little bit less, you can totally adjust to that, just mentally. But yeah. Okay, let's talk about head things. So some basic measurements that we want to be thinking about. And there's a couple of different theories about how you can go about doing this. So if you've taken a drawing class, that sort of stuff, then this is going to be similar to that. So first thing that we want to do is your face, like when you're sculpting, we're going to divide it into 3 sections, right? These sections are all the same size. Hold on. I'm going to poke myself in the nose. Find the top of my head. Okay. Did I do it? I can't tell.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. That's the same size? That's the same
Oh, yeah.
size. Thirds. So we're going to divide our head into thirds. Okay? And so I use my nose as my basic to make sure that I keep everything else in alignment. Okay? Some other fun head facts. The space here. So from here to here is also the space from here to here. Right?
Oh, yeah.
That and that, right? So your head is as long, the widest part of your head here is the same part as here. Right? So those are some real basic ones that I will hold onto. Also, when we're talking about our head this way, the widest point of your head is going to be kind of that middle, like around right here, where these little cheekbones are. I also think it's super handy. Put my glasses back on. To have looking at a skeleton and actually having one around and time to take your skeletons out of your closet so you can use them for your art purposes. Having this around so you can really be thinking about what it is that you're sculpting around is very helpful. Thinking even, I also really like to, if you can get your hands on any sort of like anatomy for the artist, that sort of stuff, where you can even see,
behind you.
Have some things, which, do we have muscles on it? Yeah, good, you have your muscles. Watching where those muscles go and how they connect in different places is also really helpful, right? So we have, just like I think round thoughts, now I'm going to think skull thoughts, okay? So, and then this part right here, like that's going to be your widest part, but then it also curves in. So there's like a line that goes from here to here that is actually creating your jaw, right? For everybody to see. So let's beat this into shape. Because a head is not a bowling ball. Okay, and I want to pull the chin out a little bit, so this is where I actually will use the table a little and actually push to bring that jaw out. Check my depth there, so that's looking okay. All right, so now I have basic blank head, okay, and this is like the back of my skull over here. So I want to keep those things in mind. It's very easy, because this is so wet, this is very easy to move. Again, reasons why I don't want to set it down on the table. I want to keep it onto like foam, and I want to keep it moving around, because if I just work on it in one way, it's...
Do you want me to get it?
No,
Okay.
I don't actually use the piece of foam. This is how I work. I'm not doing it for you. This is a me thing. It just looks like it's for you. but I'll keep it like there. Because the other thing that I watch when people put it down on the table, they have a tendency to just work with, they start to settle into the table. So the more I can get students to not actually work with it on a table, the better their heads come out. But it is a battle. Okay, so let's do some basic like measurements. I want to figure out my 3. So conveniently, I have it about 3, 3, and 3. It's lining up with my fingers. So I'll make my marks here. I want to find my halfway mark, and I'll draw that like kind of all the way around. And I'll do like a medium good job of that. And then I'll draw my line down the middle. Cool, cool, cool. So this is where I'm starting off, right? So I have my halfway mark, and I want to keep that in mind too, because this is where my ears are going to come into play, right? My ear hole is right in the middle of my head, okay? And it's also in the middle from the front, from the front to the back. It's also hitting into the middle, okay? So I want, when I'm doing this, I will come back over here, and I'll just make my little marks for where my ear is going to go. I can't tell you how many times people will make these little heads and then their ears are like right here on their cheeks. Okay, and then I'm going to do our first. So let's break this down further. So this part right here, halfway in between is the bottom of my eye, right? So my eyes are filling the top of the middle third. Right? Here's my middle third. It's divided in half. These are my eyes. So now we're going to be real scary and we're going to gouge that out. Now, jeez. Gouge. Okay, now it went a little bit deep right there. And so I pierced my opening. Not a problem. It's just clay. We'll put some clay back on there. Yeah, we don't panic. Okay, and then I'll smooth that back. And then I'm starting to look a little bit more like, I don't know. Yeah, we got Alien, we got
the T1.
Whatever that Marvel like Iron Man dude is, Tony Stark. Your eyeballs are I'm always impressed that I don't poke my eyes out. Your eyeballs are one eyeball apart. Guys, we've been looking at our heads the whole time and we hadn't thought about this yet. So this goes back to the thing where if you think you know what a face looks like, no you don't. Right? Like going back and just dividing those things down. And then I'm going to put my nose on. And this is gonna look like Squidward. It's not gonna look good, guys. But we're not worried. We're not there yet.
You don't use water or anything to attach it?
No water.
No, I'm like, as you can see, I'm very anti-water. Because again, when you're working this wet, it doesn't matter. Now, if this was leather hard, as soon as your pieces get leather hard, the more leather hard you are, the more water that I'm going to use, and the more important that scoring and slipping becomes. But right now, it's very wet, so we're all good, okay? Less is more with water, okay? So there's my nose, okay? We're coming along. Okay, next fun facts. Okay, so let's divide this into thirds, okay? Your mouth is, the opening of your mouth is not in the center of this, it's in the top. If we divide this into thirds again, okay, the opening of the mouth is in the top third, right? So basically, if we were to look at this, we're looking at the mouth is going like right over here, and then you have this part, and then you have your jaw, right? So you have your teeth, and then your jaw, or your lower we're dividing this part into two, this part right here into two. Does that kind of make sense? Right, because the nose is coming down to here, so that's 1, 2, 3. Yeah? Okay. And I'll go back multiple times, and I love using my hand as a ruler because it's very handy. And hopefully I have them all the time. So then I'll check and make sure that I'm maintaining those things because like I said, this is very soft, and the likelihood of people lose their foreheads a lot, people lose their chins a lot, okay? The only thing I've added was the nose.
Oh, okay.
So far.
What I missed.
And I do have a little, here's like a half version of my head with the markings on here, and you can see kind of what I'm going to be adding onto things. Here, we can pass this back on. And if anybody's really excited about this, I do have these, I have these videos online too that kind of go through a step-by-step process.
Online on
YouTube?
On YouTube, yeah. You just do Laura Haight and it'll come up with a purple L. And that's me. So I'm gonna pull the chin forward a little bit more so I don't have to add too much clay, but I do need to add clay for that chin. New fun facts, your jaw is the only bone on your body that isn't actually physically connected with tissue and stuff. It's only connected by muscle. So this is where you're going to see a lot of variation between people about where their jaw actively sits, right? Because we can push it forward, back, that kind of stuff. Now everybody's going to do weird stuff with their jaw.
Yeah.
And then the other thing we want to do, and this is where, do you guys see the shape that this lower jaw is making? What shape is it? Right? We got a very good U shape down there. Now, where I see people go wrong with mouths all the time is they end up going straight across. It doesn't have the U shape, right? This is why it's really helpful to look at your pieces from the bottom, from the top, working upside down, backwards from the profile is infinitely more important than looking at it straight on. Straight on is how you get weird heads. So I'm going to do my mouth. I'm going to divide this into thirds. Okay, so there's where my mouth is going to go. The opening is going to go. This is where my chin's going to really start. I'm going to put it on like a, I don't know, a croissant,
Mustache.
a weird mustache, right? Now, from your angle, are you getting a good U shape-ish
Looks like
coming
it,
in
yeah.
there? Yeah? Okay, good. Now, other fun facts. So, and you can stare at a friend, but when we look at a profile, this point right here, this point right here versus the point right here, these are not on the same plane, are they? Right? It's not flat. This comes forward. And it's not, so this is the back of my nose, but also this is right where my nose is connected to, right? So it's you have to make sure that we're going to actually connect the mouth, the upper lip, towards almost the middle of your nostril, right? Because if we have this all on the same plane, again, we're going to lose that U shape. Does that make sense? Now I don't remember what I have on my nose. Really fine. So I'm going to start to smooth that out and blend that in. When you're sculpting, it's really important to also, I really work on changing the language in my head about how I talk about things. So I try really hard not to talk about jowls or oh, I have a big chin, or I have a, because oh my gosh, it's a psychology event. Because every time I sculpt my own head, I have spent my entire life with people telling me about, one, I have a big head, and two, that I have a big jaw. And so when I sculpt, I end up, if I go along with that conversation, which you're like, no, Laura, no, like it was a thing. But it really plays into the psychology and how you sculpt stuff. And I definitely see it with all of my students when they have to sculpt themselves. I had a student that had just the cutest little dimple, and holy crap, when she sculpted it, it was like the grand again. Yeah, and I'm like, that's not it. She's like, it is. And I'm like, it's not. Right? And every time I sculpt myself, I always have to pull this like back. I always make it bigger than what I think it should be, or then bigger than what I think it's bigger than what it is. So I always have to pull back. So changing the language about size, about how you talk about it, about whether or not it's like fat or wrinkles or anything like that, I want to start talking about it in terms of like lines, forms, and shapes. The more you can pull yourself towards neutral language, the more you're going to pay attention to what's actually there, and the more you can have a lot more of appreciation for like kind of what's going on. Okay? So other shapes that I'm looking for, so there's a shape here, right? So you guys we have like this little like triangle that goes out to the corner of, from up here, from the bridge of the nose down to the corner of your mouth. Right, that makes a nice little triangle. But then you have two more triangles. We have this little triangle of kind of our cheek muscles, right? So I'm looking for triangles and shapes to kind of come out that way too. Also, your center of your eyeball is, let's find the right thing. Center of the eyeball is going to hit the side of your mouth. That's like typically how wide like your mouth is going to be. Now, if you smile or frown, like you can make different like kind of shapes and stuff, but that's what we're kind of going for. Yeah.
It's good to see.
Yeah.
I don't think you have a big head.
Oh, thank you. My mom doesn't think so either, but then she'd give me hats and then they wouldn't fit and then she'd cry about it. I didn't mean to. I'm like, Mom, we already know I need a large.
I need a kid's.
I feel like I'm proportionally correct.
Yes. I need a children's hat.
You know, if you were 5'1", maybe, you know.
Yeah, no, my head would be ridiculous. But yeah, like I had, when I was a kid, they wanted to, they were like, your jaw is really large, we're gonna break it and make it smaller.
Right.
My mom was like, no, you're not.
No.
So, good job, Mom.
Yeah. So cry about my hat, but
Right.
good job, Mom.
But it has always been.
Well, who made that comment? Was it a professional?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah, I was a dentist, and he was like, well, because I had a crossbite at the time. So part of my teeth were in front, part of my teeth were in back, and they're like, oh.
Just needed braces, not a broken jaw.
We didn't do either. We didn't do either, and it all worked itself out just fine. So, Mom for the win. It did scare me enough though that I would go to sleep and I'd pull my teeth forward. So I fixed it myself.
That's not funny. Children do pull their teeth forward,
Yeah.
thumb sucking.
To try, no. So
Unintentionally, it just happens.
and so I did it on purpose, and then they didn't want to break my jaw anymore. Yay. Okay, so we can already see we got our upper lip, which looks ridiculous right now.
Botox.
Does it from the profile though? From the side, it looks right.
So that's like a really important point. Okay, so once I get these pieces on, I am going to almost solely work on this from the side, from every angle but the front. The front is the absolute, the only time I look at the front is when I want to make sure that things are uniform, that they're symmetrical. But other than that, no. The front is the absolute worst place to be. Okay, we'll do our lower lip. Okay, and then I'm not trying to smooth out the top part, I'm just smoothing out the bottom bit.
So
Now back to that side profile, my chin's feeling a little recessed. So I'm gonna add a little bit more clay there. Now I did start off with a pretty thick ball, right? So sometimes with these heads, what I'll do after I'm done constructing, if I ended up having to add a lot on there, I will cut it. I'll cut it in half or just cut the back open a little bit more and then hollow it out a little bit. I try not to get anything that's too much thicker than my thumb anywhere, because that stuff loves to blow up. But I really want to make sure that I maintain that sort of like U shape, right? And I think that this is like a really great exercise to just give yourself like kind of an hour limit to like work on this, work really quickly, and do that almost on a daily basis. Oh, holy crud, you're gonna get so good at making heads. It's just like with like drawing. If you go in there and you have to, you do your short timed poses where you're just working for like gestures and that kind of stuff. Okay. So that's going good. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more. So let's take a look at the profile. Profile's looking like decent.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start to smooth out some things. Now I need to give this a little bit more dimension, right? So right now it's looking very svelte. I would like to have a little bit more of that like cheek muscle and stuff. So I'm gonna work on my triangles, okay? And by doing that, I'm literally gonna put a triangle, right? And once this sets up a little bit more, I might even go inside and push it out from the inside. Right now I'm really counting, because this was so wet, I'm really counting on the air to hold this up. The other thing that people make mistakes on is the nose. So they'll have the nose again be like this kind of straight line in and then up. But no, there's that muscle behind me that is connected from here going down, right? You can see it when you smile, right? That it all just like picks right up, okay? But it's connected to and pulling off of that. So you want to make sure that that muscle is there and kind of flowing from the nose. And the other good practice is actually kind of looking, especially if you're staring at like the muscle structure and stuff, actually pushing your hand in the direction that the muscle goes.
Pick it up now and show us where you added the clay to the side of the nose on one side.
Yeah, so I did
as opposed to the other side.
So, okay, the other thing to like look at on this that I'm looking for, because there's the U shape of the mouth, but then there's this kind of square shape of the cheekbones. You can see that?
Yeah.
Right? And so when I look at this, if you guys look at this direction, you can start to see a little bit more of that square shape around there versus, because look at how different that side looks from the other side.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's wild. This is why I love doing sculptures, especially sculptures. When you do it of your own head, you have these moments where you're like, you just move the clay a little bit and you're like, oh, there's my head. And it's just like you move the nose up a little, and before you're like, this isn't me, and then you move it up and you're like, oh, there I am. So you have all these, I don't know, it's a journey. You don't have to keep your head when you're done. But it's such an important process, and doing it with yourself actually forces you to pay attention to your language even more, because you'll notice real quickly when you start to fall into the conversations about yourself versus the conversations of like what's actually there. You know what I mean?
And we're not perfectly symmetrical anyway.
No.
Each side of our face is really different.
And because a lot of times, and I actually had more fun sculpting myself when I started making faces than when I was trying to make myself pretty. Because the folds are fun. Like figuring out how you're like, I loved making all of the wrinkles on my forehead and being like, oh, how am I gonna make this like squishy the right way? How do you make things look soft? How do you make things look like they're like bulging out? That sort of stuff it's just fun.
Even when you turned away from me, you could see the difference in the muscles across the back of your skull.
Right? Yeah, no, this haircut is strictly for teaching.
I actually wondered that. I thought it's perfect.
It does, it works. Well, so that before I got this haircut, I actually sculpted it. I did it on one of my sculptures. So I tried out, so this is a great way to try out haircuts.
So now you're suggesting that your students all cut their hair like that?
Right. So it turns out that this is like a pottery haircut. If you go to Ensika, like there's a bunch of women with this haircut. Like I'm not unique, I'm not original, I am a stereotype of ceramic people. How many of you guys have been to Ensika before? Anybody? A couple. You get on, guys, you can find the people before you even get there on the plane that are, we have a look.
What's Ensika?
Ensika is the ceramics convention. It happens every March, and it's where like 7,000, I'm not even kidding, 7,000 ceramic people get together and geek out about clay for about a week. A different place every year. I think next year is going to be in Baltimore. No, I think it's Baltimore. I don't know. Somebody else remember. I'm going to that one though. This past one was in Detroit. I sent about, I think I had at least 10 Saddleback students that went. And then when we were in Sacramento, we had about 30. But it's a really awesome like opportunity. You watch all these people, you watch tons and tons of demonstrations. All of the vendors are there, so shopping. And then just shows everywhere. We flood the whole city. Like every coffee shop, every gallery, every museum has ceramics just everywhere. So it's a ton of fun. I totally recommend it. You'll never see so many potters in a place. And that's when you find out that you are a stereotype.
How do you spell the acronym?
I'm dyslexic, so air spelling is hard.
N-E-C.
Right, N-E-C-A. It's National Council.
N-C-E-C-A.
There you go. See, look.
N-C-E.
National Council for the Education of Ceramic Arts.
It's in Baltimore, March 10 through 13.
Yeah.
That already happened.
So that's the next year's one.
Next year.
Yeah, this year's was in Detroit.
We take a field trip.
Right.
Field trip.
Get a cake.
Okay, so now I have my little cheekies. Right, that's looking better. Okay, let's work on everybody's least favorite part, eyeballs. I'm gonna check. Now, while I'm at it, because I've moved things around, I want to make sure that I'm still like in proportion. I haven't lost my head. I haven't gotten like extra wide. Like my depth is still looking like decent.
And eyebrows that'll make it more Neanderthal looking.
Yeah, like, okay, so this is where I think you can get into some really interesting, like, kind of, because, because people are like, oh, well, different, like, so, controversial. So race is construct, right? Not actually, like, anything, because you can have people that have, that, in terms of their DNA, like, that's coming from specific locations, right? And then you get people that are more likely to look like things, but it is not an end-all be-all. So I don't actually talk about things ever in terms of like race. because it's just not an accurate way to discuss it. I do talk about it though in terms of like, let's talk about like both, so whether or not, how like recessed like eye sockets are, right? You're gonna have a lot of different things, because this all has to do about where your muscle and where your collagen is. Also has to do about like what you've been eating and all sorts of things. So it changes. And age.
And how old you are.
Right, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
These things they're all changing and flexible. So that's why, again, I don't like to really go into that. I like to think about it a lot more in terms of, yes, thank you. It's the end of the semester. I'm running out of words. I'm going to make an M&M for the eyeballs. Okay.
Peanut M&M.
Plain. Plain. That's a really good point.
Except if you have that disease.
Right. Well, because it is. So when we're doing this, I want to look and see how far the eyeball is in comparison to the bridge, right? And we want to be thinking about, like, am I looking for something where I have something very close to the bridge of my eye, or do I want to have it more recessed? Okay. Right now, that is very close up to the top. So I need to make this a little bit deeper, or I need to make my eyeball smaller. I think I'm going to go for deeper. Oh, there's my, like, last alarm. That means I got to round myself up. Ooh, add some more clay right here, because I didn't quite go out into the bridge. Oh, she told me she had to go early.
How come she told you?
I don't know.
Oh, because she owes you money.
Yes. That is why.
Yes.
It's in the mail.
Right. No, it's in my pocket.
Good place for it to be.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
So how soon can you come back and do some more things?
Whatever you guys want. Okay, it's really helpful to do two eyeballs at the same time. A lot of times what I will do with my students is I will sculpt one half of the head, and then they have to sculpt the other half of the head, and they think that I'm doing them a favor. No, it's actually the meanest thing I could do.
You know, a lot of the things that you're talking about are true in any kind of art. I paint, and when I paint portraits, to get both sides looking like they belong together is so difficult.
Right?
And I did a self-portrait many years ago in oils, and it still sits in my house, and it still doesn't have the mouth right. I got the rest of it pretty okay, but you know what? I don't even want to look at it now. It's probably 20 years old, and that is not me. But it's very true that a lot of the dimension stuff is
right, and
applies the same way.
It's very much true. And so, like, when we're talking about like kind of sketching and working on these things, I think about it a lot as like hard lines versus soft lines, right? So like the slit for your mouth, where it's a really dark like tone, that's a hard line. If you were to draw this, that would be a stiffer, darker line. But then when we get over to the like nuances about the curve of the lip and that sort of stuff, and people get confused about the lips all the time because they think that the color, like they will sculpt it more because they want to show the difference in color. And I'm like, it's not about color. Like there is a little bit of a shape there, but it's not, it's so subtle. It's not a hard line. But when we watch people draw it on there, hard line around the mouth, right? Okay, so I feel pretty good about like those eyeballs.
Oh, that looks great.
Right? Not too bad, not too bad.
Can you show it again? Needs an eyelid.
Yeah. Now we're gonna get into eyelid. And then in terms of like sculpting tools, okay, I can get away with I can do so much with just these two. That'll do me a ton of good. But then when I get into like details and stuff, I used to get the clay shapers, but they're kind of hard to get. And I do really like, these are the Zim tools. And they're actually pretty nice. And I like that they have both of the ends. I do like a slightly stiffer, like this is like a kind of medium to hard tip. If it's too soft, you can't like move it around.
We do not sell those.
We do not sell
Oh,
those.
not those.
Aardvark does.
Right, yeah, you
Aardvark
can
does.
get these ones at Aardvark. And I think that where's my good ones? Yeah, I use like these kind of like wedged ones a lot, and also the point. I like all
Are
of them.
those all silicone?
Yeah, so if you guys want to like pass one around or whatever.
They have like a steel rod inside of them so that they don't fold over and stuff.
Yeah, I think so, because it's soft on
We do have
this.
the rubber ones.
Do you have the ones where it's just a rubber tip?
Yes.
Yeah, those are great too. I love those.
Does the color on the side of the tool define the stiffness?
No, it's just the shape.
Because some are orange, green, and this one's
Yeah,
yellow.
it's just
Different shape.
these are just different shape. I got 2 different sizes or
Oh,
3
all right.
different sizes.
Oh, it's shape, okay.
But yeah, it's just the shape. Okay, wait, focus. So eyelid, if I'm really smart and I'm feeling good about myself, I will remember to do my lower eyelid first. Lower eyelid first. Because folds of our skin, like I want this part to fold. I want my upper eyelid to fold over. So I'll do a little coil. So I'll just do one side of I'll work on one side of the head instead of working on both sides. So we'll do that little business. And then what I want to do is I want to be so careful as to not muck up the inside rim. Because that fold and the connection already looks good. And it's so hard to try to redraw. And when you try to redraw it, this is when you end up with football eyes, where your eyeballs are like literally like jutting out in the shape of a football, like extruding from your eyelid. And if I mess it up, I'm infinitely better off just going back and ripping out the eyeball and doing it again than trying to sit there and fix it. Feeling good about like letting things go is a trick.
I don't know what you were showing. I thought that was.
The sticks with the little
Is that
rubber
what that
tips.
was? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought she had a sgraffito tool.
Okay, and then I'm just like I use my thumb, like thumb is my most helpful tool, but I also have to use it so lightly. My general like theories are that I try to do, I make really heavy marks and then I go back and I soften. Okay, so there's our lower eyelid. You know you're doing a good job also if when you're holding it from the side, you cannot see your inner eyelid. Otherwise, that means your eyeballs are poking out to the side. You've got a different issue. Okay, now upper eyelid. Let's see.
So what you just, can you see what the lower eyelid looks like?
You never touch the inside.
Yeah, I don't want to touch the inside part. I just want to touch the outside, and then I'll work to thin it out. Because your eyelids have like thickness and depth, right? This is great. The funny thing that happens when my students are working on this is we all start to get really comfortable staring at each other. So that we can be like, to really start to pay attention to like what's going on with, and looking at as many different faces as possible, right? So I had a little bit of a taper.
If you work with your hands, do you really feel you don't need any moisture at all?
No, but I will tell you, like, I'm doing this all within like an hour, and so no, I don't need a lot of moisture. If you're taking longer, you eventually do, like, you'll start to develop a skin over the surface, that sort of stuff, which case, yeah, you do need to add water. I think learning how to work quickly with the clay is our ideal. So my recommendation, if you really want to get good at heads, set yourself like an hour or maybe even 2-hour timer. Work on a thing. Don't worry about having an end result. Just see what happens within that time, and do that repeatedly, like once a week, once a day.
Put that in a bag and come back later?
Oh yeah, totally.
Can I ask you a quick question that I couldn't see from over there? When you did the muscles on the cheek and the nose, were they 2 triangles?
It was just one triangle here, one triangle there, and it was just and I tried to extend the triangle up into the nose so that it was attaching.
So to get this part was just the other end of that triangle.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where, because that's going back to where my ear hole is over here.
Showing it differently.
Yeah, it's just, it's attached by that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, back to this, there's that triangle. Right? So there's our little like eyeball. And now let's just like work a little bit on the like mouth part here. So where people go wrong on the mouth a lot of times is that so everybody's mouth is a little bit different. Some people will go into like a little bit of like a curve or a muscle over here, right? Sometimes it'll just fade into like kind of a softer little ending point. So have it in mind about what you would like to do. Working from a face, I think, is always a great plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in there, and I want to make some depth in that part here. I'll even make this a little bit bigger. And even pull. So the other thing that I'm kind of missing on this, and I'm almost at a point where I could do this. So I just make a hole. Right, now you can hang the head. But I'm gonna come in here, down at this bottom edge. I'm gonna push out the jaw just a little bit.
So that's you were talking about the thumb tool, like that shape that's rounded a little bit.
Yeah, and so I want it to be, I'm working on this little like element here, and I want to give the jaw a little bit more definition because currently it's like kind of falling back behind the head. Okay, so look at the difference between my left side versus the right side, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah, so those are all things that we just kind of want to keep track of. And then even my lip, just going over the edge here, I can start to make also working with different light is important. Okay. So it's just these little like nuances that can really start to make a huge difference in your face. Okay, now, so right now I don't have a fold over the upper eyelid, but if I wanted to get a fold in that upper eyelid, okay, now that's too hard of a line, so I'm going to go back and push this down and take away some of that clay. I also really like to use my thumbnail is a great one too. Wow. And it is interesting to like actually look at it because I haven't looked at it right side up for a minute.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, but we're getting there. We're doing things.
Oh, yeah.
How's the head?
Now me with the face.
It's not
She
really
might need
my-
a little stroke. 'cause
It's
then
not
others-
my head for sure. Just
It's
yet.
beautiful.
I could probably work on it though. Let's see. There was just a couple of things, other like fun tricks that I wanted to show you guys. These are my other favorite tools. They're just tongue depressors that you can go back
Oh, the
and.
pumpkin maker.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
from
pumpkin
Bill.
maker.
Yeah.
A lot of my
Pumpkin.
tricks are from Bill. I'm just like, I'm like the girl version of Bill.
Who is Bill?
Bill Bryant was my high school ceramics teacher.
He is a member of the club. Unfortunately, he's lost almost all of his hearing now. So he doesn't come into the studio much anymore.
Right, but this is a way that you can go in, so this can make scales. You can change this to turn it into like, if you want to do feathers, this would work really good. I also really like it for both wood and for hair textures. So adding, if I wanted to do a bunch of hair onto a thing, I literally would just like, you know, add some clay. Here, we'll give it a mohawk.
If you were to add the ears to that, would you do the ears and make them first and apply them, or?
That's a good one.
Because that's a hard one.
What I do for the ears is I make an orange slice. We're gonna make it the same height as the nose. So ears are a fun one because ears do change over time. That's like one of the things that they get bigger as we get older. But generally we're talking about like there, right in that same like scale. I want it to be flat on this side. Did you see which technique I used to end?
Oh, yes, that great
This is
tool.
what I did it again.
Your tool?
I do want to make both of them at the same time because we get sleeper. And then from here, I will go in and I'll just cut off a little bit extra like that. Okay, and that's going to be my little ear. I made it for this side. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm putting it on this side. Okay. I want to make it go halfway back, like so. There was my mark for my ear hole. Where people go wrong with ears is they have a tendency to create a step right here, and it's not a step, it's blended into. The other thing is I think people get really freaked out about ears, but the problem is everybody's ears are drastically different. It's like a fingerprint, so honestly you make something generally air-shaped and you did it right. So I'm gonna make a hole. Then I'll make this guy. And then it's generally like a Y shape. I have to look at like an ear, but there's like. Do you guys see the Y?
Yeah.
Right? It's like goes this way, it comes out to there. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to make my Y. This part of the Y needs to go behind the fold or the flap. Is that? We see it. We see it. Yeah, mirror is like really helpful, but it's behind me, so. All right, and then there's this little like dude right here.
How many heads do you think you've done over time?
Every semester, I kind of sculpt and then sculpt along with each of the students because I do half, like a lot of times I'll end up doing half of their head. So that's 25 twice a year for 20 years. That was
So 100.
yeah,
A few.
a few. Yeah, we're gonna get a lot. But yeah, it's again, getting. And honestly, if you want to see really good videos, my favorite sculptor and the person that always blows me away is Tip Nolan. She will, because she does hyper realistic, and she can do a head in an hour, like a life-size hyper realistic head in an hour. She's my hero.
Is that Tip Nolan?
Tip.
T-I-T.
Yeah.
She's probably done more than 200.
Yeah. No. And her pieces are so beautiful because she is very much. She has always been about sculpting very realistic people. She tends towards older women. And like my favorite one is one where it's this lady with kind of like scraggly white hair that she's putting on some like lipstick, and every fold and every wrinkle is like there, and it is beautiful.
Who needs that?
She does. And
I need this.
Right? See, no, I think that we've been given like the wrong idea about what we're supposed to look like, because this is beautiful, and us getting older is beautiful. I've
Beats the alternative.
Yeah. Right? But everything that we have going on is literally because of what we have been through. And you see all of your different like family members. Sometimes you don't want to see your family members, but they're still there. Right? Like I can look, if I take off my glasses, don't wear makeup, put my hair back, and I can see my dad. And I'm like, oh, there he is. And I really appreciate that, and I appreciate it as I've gotten older and as I've sculpted more and more of my own head. I continue to appreciate it more and more. Like I've been seeing these pictures, more recently I've been seeing pictures of myself where I'm like, oh, I got older. But also, wow, I really like this like fold or this line or this like, I mean, sculpturally, I'm like, I've gotten more interesting.
You're kind.
Right?
You're kind to yourself.
Again,
Not the stuff I see when I look in the mirror.
No, I also have the moments where I was like, oh, did somebody put the old filter on me? I'm like, oh, it's not me. It's just me.
Oh my God, take it out.
And that has also happened, but I have also decided that I do not need to allow, like, I don't need to look like a teenager. That's weird.
I think my
already did
boobs
that.
look really good tucked into my waistband. Hey, saves the cost of a bra.
Right, exactly. But, so just real rough, you can see how this can work really nicely. Like, so I like this not only for what we can sculpt up here, but how we can use this to actually create texture and hair. And you can, I start off really hard line, and then I'll go back and I'll soften it as I go. And as this gets like rather hard, then I can take off some of the crumbs. I love using
Garlic press?
garlic press is, oh, garlic presses are,
Oh, yeah.
no. Let me show you.
Here she goes, moving again.
I know, I'm such a problem.
I need to buy a strainer.
This stuff is awesome, especially if you want to make moths or little hair or anything like that. Because the garlic press is too much, it's too noodly, right? I don't like the garlic press for hair. But I do like this for, look at that.
It's like an anemone.
Right? So this can be super fun moss. This can be like kind of, I still don't think it's like super great necessarily for hair. Might be good for some like
Beard.
fuzz, beard. And then how you would attach it is you would take some like slip, just a bunch of slip, and then you just lay that into the slip, right? Because this is supposed to
Because you
be.
can't compress it, because then.
Yeah, there's no compressing or anything like that, but yeah, you can get some really great like texture with the little strainers and stuff. So I love these guys. But yeah, I think that's like the end of my. Did I hit the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone over my time now. So thanks for hanging out.